just so real. Already know exactly how you feel. See the head, not like seeing a steeple. You damn well know they're one of the people. Nobody breaks us, nobody made us, and no one can take this cause we got their fix. We are the people, we are the people, we are the people, don't mess with this. Let's go.
Good morning. It is Patrick and the people. Welcome to Almost Friday.
Almost.
Yeah,
We've
it's
almost made it.
Almost Friday, man. Listen, if you have not been out yet and you cannot leave the house, just don't do it. It is a hot mess out there. I mean, it is just nasty, rainy, terrible weather. So just know it is a mess. I think it's supposed to clear out maybe by... I'm guessing around 1:30, 2 o'clock, something like that, I think.
Is it? I heard it. I heard there was. I don't know if it touched down or not, but I heard there was a tornado warning in downtown Fayetteville over the night.
Really?
From the storms, yeah.
Well, I hope everybody's all right over there. I hadn't heard anything about that.
Yeah. I was reading about it on Facebook on my way in.
Really?
So, yeah. Like I said, I don't know if it touched down or not, but I know that there was a cell that was warned at least. So
Okay. All right.
try and find out more.
All right. We'll try to get more information on that. Hope that your day is starting well. We had a great show yesterday, and let's get into it as we're running just a little bit behind already. Let's talk about today who has outrun the Grim Reaper. Let's take a look here. Lil JJ is 32. I don't even know who Lil JJ is. Yeah, I have no idea who that is. Never heard of him. But I do know Dermot Mulrooney. He's 59. You know him from My Best Friend's Wedding, The Gray. Let's see. Rob Schneider is 59. You know him from Deuce Bigelow, Mel Gigolo. You know him from a lot of movies, actually. Did you know that his daughter is Ellie King, the singer?
Huh.
Yeah, she's a great singer, too.
She is, yeah.
A real good singer. Let's see who else. The Beastie Boys' Adam Adrock Horowitz, 56 years old. I love the Beasties, man.
Oh, yeah. Brown's Monkey.
Man, I love all the Beasties. I really do. Vanilla Ice is 55. His real name is Robert Matthew Van Winkle, if you didn't know. My Chemical Romance's Frank Lero is 41. Willow Smith is 22. Director Peter Jackson from Lord of the Rings is 61. A newsman and proven liar, Dan Rather, is 91. So there you go. That's birthdays if you care about them today. All right, let's get into what is going on and the things that you need to know when you're getting your day started here. Okay, here we go. Oh, no, this is not a good thing here. They say the health experts are offering tips to limit sugar intake in your kids for Halloween and the days following. They recommend you have a healthy dinner before you trick or treat so the kids are full before the sugar rush. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Just let them enjoy the sugar rush. Just once a year they get to do that, right?
Right.
Come on, man.
That's what it's all
Let
about.
them go full diabetic coma on it. A federal judge says a woman who accused Sean Diddy Combs of assault cannot move forward with a civil lawsuit under a pseudonym. A Tennessee woman filed a lawsuit as Jane Doe, alleging that she had been raped by Combs in 2004. The judge in New York said defendants have a right to defend themselves, including by investigating the plaintiff, and gave the woman until November 13th to file the suit under her own name, or the case will be dismissed. The suit is one of many filed against him since September by plaintiffs using a pseudonym. He's denied any wrongdoing. We've seen you on video. You know that, right? Elvis Costello is addressing some controversy surrounding Olivia Rodrigo and one of his guitar riffs. In a conversation with Vanity Fair, he explained he didn't see any reason to go after Rodrigo and her producer for interpolating his track Pump It Up on her song Brutal. He said it'd be ludicrous, adding, basically there'd be no Bach, no Mozart, no Sonny Rollins without reference. He's previously pointed out he's used other artists like Bob Dylan and Chuck Berry's inspiration for his own music. Russia is finding Google. We talked briefly about this yesterday. A decillion. That is a 1 followed by 36 zeros, or a trillion times a trillion times a trillion. There's not even that much money on the planet, if you need to know. It doesn't even exist. It's never happened. So this lawsuit probably, they're not going to be able to get a judgment on that one, I don't think. I don't think they're going to start getting payments or anything. A decillion. Have you ever heard that before?
This is definitely the first time. I said
Okay.
it yesterday. One of those things I know my bank account will probably never, ever show.
No, I assure you it will not. The White House is condemning North Korea's missile test launched yesterday. The intercontinental ballistic missile flew for about 86 minutes, the longest flight recorded for that country. A spokesperson for the National Security Council called North Korea's test launch a flagrant violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions. While the missile launch didn't pose a threat to the U.S., White House officials say it needlessly raises tensions and risks destabilizing the security situation in the region. Is there anything that is stable right now? Honestly? More kids are playing team sports. The Aspen Institute's National State of Play of 2024 release this week found nearly 40% of kids between 6 and 17 regularly played a team sport last year. That's the highest rate since 2015. But of the 16 sports tracked, participation was down in 9 of them. The number of boys playing team sports was down to 41%, compared with 50% 10 years ago. More girls are playing, though, at the highest rate since at least 2012. Some experts credit Caitlin Clark with drawing more girls into sports. Overall, physical activity among U.S. youth got a D- from the Physical Activity Alliance. A D-, man.
Ouch.
That's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Wow, man. ABC, the Grammys will have a new home starting in 2027. They and Disney have signed a 10-year deal for the award show. Does anybody watch award shows anymore? That's the real question. Do you give a damn where the Grammys come on, what time they come on, or where they come on? Probably not.
No, I haven't ever, gone through and be like, oh, the Grammys. Yeah, let's sit down and watch that.
Yeah, let me watch a bunch of rich people tell me about how I should live.
Right.
A Taylor Swift fan account posted a clip of her performing at 11, and Travis Kelce liked it. Why is this in news?
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know why this is in news, and I'm sorry. I shouldn't have read that at all. There's nothing like being beachfront and breathing in ocean air, unless you're in Southern California right now. A nasty stench coming off the water is making life miserable. Scientists say it's due to a seasonal bloom of algae that earlier this month made bioluminescent waves. They give off that blue glow like a one of those, what do you call those sticks? Glow stick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that to me, man. As the algae dies off, it emits a hydrogen sulfide. Kind of smells like rotten eggs. Soon after, the bacteria starts to decompose. It smells bad.
Is that like a red tide? Have you ever,
I don't know if it is or not, to be honest, but I mean, it may be. I mean, it's an algae type
Right.
Mess, so I don't know.
I remember one time when I was a kid, went to Florida to visit my grandparents, and it was a red tide period, and it was horrible.
Well, you
like
can't.
the worst smell in the world.
Really?
Seriously.
It may be that then. It may very well be the same type of situation right there. All right, let's see. We were talking about North Korea a minute ago. Looks like here's some more about it. They're saying that North Korean troops in uniform are helping out Russia. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin hosted the South Korean Defense Minister Kim Jong-un at the Pentagon at their meeting. Austin revealed new information about Russia. He said that North Korean troops wearing Russian uniforms, carrying Russian equipment, are moving towards Ukraine. Austin said some advanced units have already made it to Russia's Kursk region, and the likelihood's pretty high Russia will send those troops into combat. So the Ukraine's ambassador told the UN Security Council yesterday they expect up to almost 5,000 North Korean troops to be at their border with Russia this week. Well, that's not good. You don't want to get those guys involved,
Right.
Yeah, somebody probably ought to do something here and just get this under control.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could do anything to get something under control around here. All right, the Supreme Court issued a ruling yesterday that clears the way for Virginia to remove about 1,600 non-citizens from voter rolls. The court granted a request from state officials to pause an order from a lower court that blocked them from following through with the voter removal program that started in August. The National Voter Registration Act requires states to purge ineligible voters up to 90 days before elections. Yesterday's order means Virginia can purge more voters from its rolls between now and Tuesday. The Governor Glenn Youngkin praised it. The Justice Department said it disagrees with the order. I'm not sure why this is a debate or an argument. I mean, if they're non-citizens, why should they be on the voter roll?
Right. Well,
I mean,
hey.
is that a question? I mean,
Not to me, but, there's plenty of people that have been dead for years that still figure out a way to vote somehow.
well,
so.
somehow they do sometimes, right? I mean,
I guess they're trying to get them wherever they can.
fair enough. Fair enough. Check this out. This is good news for some people out there, I think. In December of 2023, an engineer, Paul Red, experienced a headache while on a work trip to South Korea. When he got back to the UK, he was diagnosed with a fast-growing and aggressive brain tumor. He underwent radiation and chemotherapy, but the tumor kept growing. The 60-year-old's type of tumor, it's a glioblastoma, often proves fatal in about 18 months. Well, he was offered a spot in a treatment trial at University College London, and it involves surgically removing as much as possible and then implanting a small device. It's called an Ommaya reservoir under his scalp. They then inject him with low doses of radioactivity directly in the tumor every week for 6 weeks, which led to a 50% reduction. The scientist who led the trial said the reduction in his tumor is a significant achievement for such an aggressive cancer. He's had no side effects other than mild fatigue. Said he's thankful, calling the trial a lifeline, as his chances of survival before the treatment had been estimated at a year or less. I mean, we are really pushing the boundaries of eliminating some diseases again.
Absolutely.
I think we're in another round of that where we're about to eliminate a lot of things. That's why you keep seeing these people who, the oldest people alive keep getting older and older. The most recent oldest person alive that died was 116.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that like, wow, I didn't hear that. Last I heard was like just barely over 100.
No. We're way up now. We're in the 115s, 100, I've seen 117, I think now.
I don't think I would want to live that long.
No?
No. 75, 80, that's a good life.
I'm tired.
I've experienced enough.
I'm tired already.
117? I'd just be begging at that point. Please kill me.
Yeah, just take me out.
Let me go.
Just take me out. Yeah, no, without a doubt. Apparently, Primus drummer Tim Herb Alexander quit the band via email. I know that all of you guys are out there bumping the Primus this morning. As a way to leave a tight-knit group like a band, email may not be the best, but according to members of Primus, he sent him an email about 2 weeks ago saying he lost his passion for playing and was leaving the band. Wow, this is like a bad girlfriend-boyfriend situation, isn't it? The band isn't canceling any shows. They did say it came as a complete shock, but will instead feature members of Holy Mackerel, Frog Brigade, and Tool to fill the gaps until they complete their search for, quote, the greatest drummer on earth. Well, I'm not sure you're going to get that, but good luck on that. Slayer. Yeah, Slayer, that's Slayer. They're still around, still trying to slay. Hurricane Helene led to the cancellation of their set at the Louder Than Life Festival in Kentucky this year, but they're going to make it up to fans next year. They've announced they're returning to Louisville at the Highland Festival grounds, September 18th through 21st next year. They'll be the headliner. The festival's also announced the single day pass holders for the canceled show can get a full refund or a credit applied. And, well, that's good, I guess.
Yeah.
Is it You think they're getting to a certain age where it's kind of hard to be as satanic as they want to be anymore?
You would think so, but you know,
Yeah, I mean, you might just be getting too
kinda
tired.
gotta move a little slower, you know.
Yeah, I mean, typically, if you're going to be really, vicious and satanic, you should be younger and more virile, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's wisdom that's.
Hard job, you know, running after the goats to try and get them for the sacrifices. And
You're
stuff.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, no, whatever.
Whew, out of breath.
Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. New Zealand, they are bidding farewell to what they called a very disturbing sculpture, a controversial sculpture of a giant hand with a human face known as Quasi is set to be removed from a top city gallery in Wellington, New Zealand after 5 years. Quasi was created by an artist, Ronnie Van Hout, sparked immediate reaction with some calling it disturbing. The 16.4 feet tall sculpture based on Van Hout's own hand and face. No other sculpture arrived so dramatically into our streetscape. That's the chair of the town said. He said he was a great cheerleader for Wellington's creativity. He'll be missed and leaves a quasi-shaped hole on our civic skyline. But it seems like most of the town just wanted it gone. They felt like it was hideous.
It's just a big eyesore for the town.
Well,
I was
look
gonna
at
say,
it.
I've never, yeah. Oh, I mean,
It looks like the Kool-Aid Man
Yeah.
with the
like a cape on. And
Yeah. yeah, it just looks like the Kool-Aid Man to me.
Waiting to
It's
jump
just
off the
kinda
roof.
weird.
Be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah. All right, let's get into just a little bit of sports here, and see what you're interested in. Did you watch any games last night? By the way,
No.
no.
No, man. I was. It was a busy day yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't know that the Los Angeles Dodgers are the world champs?
Oh.
What?
woo.
It took
That's a
5
sweep then,
games.
right?
No,
five
no,
games.
no. They got one. The big bats of the Yankees finally came out to play. The Yankees jumped out to a 5-0 lead against the Dodgers. The first inning home runs from Aaron Judge, Jazz Chisholm Jr., and Giancarlo Stanton shot in the third. Then came the 5th inning, where the Dodgers made it clear they weren't going to go away like that. They put up 5 of their own off an RBI single from Mookie Betts, 2 RBI single from Freddie Freeman, and another 2 RBI double off the bat of Teoscar Hernandez. Stanton answered back in the 6th with a sacrifice fly that scored Juan Soto, but the Dodgers had a couple sacrifice flies in the 8th to give them a 7-6 edge. With that, Los Angeles called on Walker Buehler to close it out, securing the Dodgers the 2024 World Series championship.
Woo-hoo.
So congratulations to the Dodgers. I believe that will help cement Shohei Ohtani as one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest
Oh, I'm
of
sure.
all time. Don't you think?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This Tuesday be the first look at the college football playoff rankings. It'll give a decent picture of the teams with the best shot at seeing playoff action. The champions from the Power 5 conferences will automatically be in the show. That leaves 7 spots open, and at least one group of 5 school will likely get in. Here are the 7 schools that have the best shot to make it. Boise State, who's currently ranked 15th. Army, currently undefeated and ranked 21st. Navy started off 6-0 until they hit that Notre Dame buzzsaw. Tulane is 6-2. They're undefeated in the AAC. They had 28 votes in the most recent AP Top 25 poll. Memphis has a 7-1 record, got 34 votes in the latest poll. UNLV, they need to win out to even sniff a shot. Beating Boise State would help them. And then Louisiana, 7-1 with that one loss to Tulane. They need to win out and get some help along the way if they're going to do anything at all. So,
And I think this is the first year they're doing like the playoffs in college football for the championship, isn't it?
no, it's not the first year, but it is they do have playoffs this year for sure.
Yeah.
In Detroit, there's now an internal affairs investigation into the Jamison Williams traffic stop, looking into why he wasn't arrested. A report concerning the October 8th traffic stop reveals that he was a passenger in a car being driven by his brother at the time of the stop. During the stop, Williams' brother told officers there were a couple guns in the car. One was owned and registered to his brother, who also had a concealed license. The second gun was owned by Williams and hidden under the seat of the car, but there was no CPL. At the scene, it certainly appeared as though Williams was on his way to being arrested. He'd been cuffed and put in the back of the car. Williams then dropped the knowledge that he played for the Detroit Lions, and the sergeant was called to the scene to handle, quote, a high-profile person. The sergeant, also a Lions fan. Phone calls were made. The lieutenant gave the okay to let Williams walk. Now, the investigation aims to find out how much of a role the fact that Williams played for the Lions played in the decision-making process on the scene. Well, I mean, is that new that celebrities get a break? I mean,
no, you don't say.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. I mean, that's not new. Look, the dude's a Lions fan. The guy's a Detroit Lion. Yeah, he's okay. I mean, you know what I mean?
There you go. Go on down the road.
Oh, yeah, just get on out of here.
No, that never happens.
No.
Every officer out there upholds and stands the law to a T.
Yeah, no, they certainly would never,
Absolutely
ever
not.
give a celebrity any kind of advantage, right?
Never.
All right, let's do something different.
Listen, what else you got to do in the morning?
All right, how about this? If you're looking for a vehicle, how about a late model, low mileage vehicle? Go to Fitz Auto. Listen, if you want a car, a truck, an SUV, a boat, a camper, a side-by-side, they have everything that you want and then some. But don't worry about bad credit. That's what they deal with. They're their own bank. Look, you can check them out online at fitzauto.com, or you can go in person, 8421 Stagecoach Road in Little Rock. Find out why we've bought 7 vehicles from Fitz Auto. They're that good. Listen to this. Did you know that Arkansas child custody laws changed in 2021? There's now a rebuttable presumption that joint custody is in the best interest of your child. Look, if you're dealing with divorce, child custody, something like that, there's 3 things you need from your attorney. You need him to be experienced, you need him to be aggressive, and you need him to be effective. And that is exactly what you get at Robertson, Oswald, and Noni. These guys know what they're doing. Bonnie has been my personal attorney for many years, and she is amazing, as are the other 2. If you've got those kind of issues, don't take a second choice attorney. Go to the best and let them get it done for you. You can call them at 496-6633. That's 496-6633, or go to robertson-law-firm.com. Hey, yesterday I interviewed Bonnie about her new book for our after-school special this Saturday, and it's a great interview. She's got a lot of interesting things and a lot of interesting experience, and she has this new book. Hold on. It's called After the Wedding, A Divorce Lawyer's Top 25 Tips to Keep You Married, and it's a very, very good book for couples. And a great gift, too, for someone getting married, something like that. But we had a really cool interview. A lot of times people see attorneys as stiff, but she's
Right.
such a really nice lady and a real good friend of mine. But she's a great, great interview, and you'll enjoy learning more about her and her book on Saturday.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Those after school specials have been really good, man. I've been
Man,
enjoying those.
Thanks, man. We had the interview with Gunner last week. A lot of people seem to enjoy seeing the man, the myth, the legend, behind the scenes guy. It's always fun to meet that guy. And so that was a great interview. And we've got a lot of things going on. We've got Mike James, the comedian, coming in tomorrow, courtesy of the Looney Bin. And man, he's a great, great comedian. He's got a lot of great credits to his name.
Okay.
And we're going to have a lot of fun with him. He will be in the studio with us tomorrow. So
Awesome.
that's in addition to the rant and everything else that's going to be going on. So we hope that you'll certainly be here for that show.
Well, then don't forget, too, today, here in about, I think, half hour or so, we're going to have Chris Fortune from the independent wrestling scene.
Chris Fortune is
Oh,
coming
yeah.
in. That's right. He is, isn't he?
Yes, sir. He'll be here in just a little bit.
What's his story, Chris Fortune?
Well, I'll leave it for him.
I
to
mean, but
tell.
what?
Yeah.
Give them a tease of what he's about. What does he do?
Well, he's an independent wrestler, of course,
Yeah.
around the Arkansas scene. He's kind of
Okay.
that polished,
Yeah.
upper class wrestler.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a real tried and true wrestler in here
Absolutely.
in just a little bit.
A couple of my friends have said they're hoping you get chopped on air tonight.
Is that right?
today. So yeah.
Is that something that he does, the chop?
Well, that's a move of every. It's when they, they get him in the corner and they, go right to the
I
chest
got
there.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably don't want to do that to me, man. I mean, come on, man. Here we go. Let's talk about this guy because I don't know what in the hell was going on here. But this story is something. A Louisiana man threatened to blow up an Ulta beauty store in Alabama. He's been arrested. Tim Lincoln, he's 42. 42, you're old enough to know better, Tim. He allegedly made a phone call outside an Ulta Beauty Saturday morning. During the call, he told the person he was speaking to, I'm going to blow this shit up. An employee at the store who outside allegedly heard him, and they evacuated the customers and employees in the store, and the police were called. Unclear from the complaint if he actually went in, but when police arrived at the scene, he was taken into custody. They searched the area for explosives, didn't find anything, but Lincoln's mugshot, man, if you could see this guy, when I tell you, his beard is dyed as blue as it can be, like Smurf level blue. His face is covered in some kind of colorful markings. They don't appear to be tattoos. It looks like maybe it's paint or something. It's unclear when he did it, and the police haven't commented on him at the time of the report, but Ultra Beauty banned him for life from all the stores. But he's facing charges of first-degree murder, making a terrorist threat. He's being held at the Lee County Detention Center. Man, hard to believe a guy threatened to blow up Ulta. Usually the only people that do that are the husbands forced to wait around for a long time. You know what I mean?
Somebody on Robbie on Facebook said, what part of Louisiana was he from, if it says?
Oh, does it say? It does not. It just says Louisiana. It does not.
The way he's got whatever that is on his face, I wish we could put that picture up. But
right.
It kind of looks like, when your children are young and they make those scribble line drawings, and you're like, oh yeah, we'll put it on the
fridge.
That
Yeah,
looks
that's
like
right.
his face.
No, it's exactly what it looks like. It looks like somebody took random markers. All right, let's see what the people are saying. Okay, let's see. Good morning, everyone. Rich said. That's you, Rich.
That's me. That's me. I was. Everybody was waiting on us.
Well, we were running just slightly behind this morning. Let's see what we got here.
Janet Darling said she's at 74 now. She's not a fan of leaving the planet at 75.
Well, that's
Give her the 115.
That's my mom.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
We don't want
No.
her going away.
No, we no. She can stay to 115 if she wants to. Yeah, it'll be all right. I won't be mad about that. Andy said first again. Hey, Andy. Good morning to you, man. He said, y'all are allowed to run behind. Latasha said, be safe, guys. Andy said, Patrick dropped his donuts in a puddle. He had to run and get more. No, it really wasn't that, but that's funny, man. Let's see, what else? Patrick's probably out buying the Reese's Cups up because he doesn't want to share them for Halloween. Latasha, that could be true. I'm not saying it is, but it could be true. Opie said, good morning, y'all.
Harry says,
Ben,
dog titty.
Ben said, I want my money back. Okay, man. I got you, bro. I got your money. Kristen said, happy Halloween. It is Halloween, isn't it?
It is.
It is Halloween.
Spooky good.
Yeah, it's a big, big Halloween day. Are you doing anything tonight for Halloween?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm taking a little one trick-or-treating.
Now, what if it's raining?
We're going trick-or-treating.
Doesn't matter if it's raining.
Yeah, not to me. I mean, if it's raining like super, if it's storming and lightning and thundering and just pouring, then
yeah,
we'll probably sit in the car and wait for it to pass over. But hey, when I was a kid, I went trick or treating dressed as a mummy wrapped in toilet paper. It started raining, it all stuck to me. I stayed out there,
It didn't wash your costume off.
I mean, yeah, pretty much in bits and pieces. But
yeah,
hey, I'm scary enough, just normal. So.
I guess maybe we would have gone trick-or-treating in the rain. I don't remember ever doing that, but I'm not saying we didn't.
Right.
But that I could probably make it more fun. What is your kid dressing up as?
He's going to go with Spider-Man.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yep, the classic Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's classic. It's cool when you can still wear the Spider-Man costume and look good in it.
Right.
I think once in my life it was a place where I could have worn the Spider-Man costume and looked all right.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago, man.
I've got to try and, blow up the fake muscles some, make them a little bigger. Yeah.
I think that's a great determination of how fit you are. If you can pull off the Spider-Man costume, then you're pretty damn fit.
You're good.
Yeah. But if you're a little bit nervous about it, If it's clinging to the wrong places, yeah, no, you probably shouldn't be wearing the Spider-Man costume. Nobody wants to see fat Spider-Man, I'll be honest with
I
you.
want to know from everyone where there's always the best Halloween trick or treating spots. In every town that you're in, no matter
Yeah.
what. I want to know where
You want to
they
know
are
where the
around
best
here.
one is?
Yeah. I wanna
Okay.
know where to go.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe they'll tell us. Hey, James Seifert, JR said, my son's getting married today. Congratulations, man. That's great. That is awesome, man. Morning, Rich, Carrie said.
Yeah. Morning.
Good morning. Happy Halloween. You should have done a costume for the show today. Crystal, I was prepared to do so. I had one ready, and I was just running a little bit behind this morning and didn't have time to switch into it, to be honest with you. Ronnie James said, good morning. What's up, Ronnie? Sean said, finally, I'm off work and get to listen live. Hey, we appreciate that. Hey, brother, see you soon. That's Darren. It's going to be all clear out early this afternoon, according to Matthew. Now, does that mean...
That must be the weather, the rain, and everything.
Yeah, does that mean that it's not raining tonight? I hope it's not for the kids. I mean, it's a lot more fun, I'm sure, when you're not being rained on.
Well, the last time that I watched the weather earlier this week, I think we had this storm system moving through this morning, and then I think there's supposed to be another one on Monday. We're
On
supposed to be
Monday.
pretty clear throughout the rest of the week.
Really?
So.
Okay, well, that's great to hear, man.
Somebody on the on Facebook here, let me see.
What?
There we go. They just said, Brandon Jack said, yeah, no one wants to see fat bastard in a skin-tight suit.
No, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants fat Deadpool. I've seen fat Deadpool at Comic-Con.
Amanda Lee Terry said she lived in Utah as a kid. She's gone trick-or-treating in the snow.
Really? In the snow even?
Ooh.
Wow. That is different.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd be able to do that because some of those costumes are, the material's pretty thin. I don't want to freeze to death while getting candy.
Well,
getting rained on's one thing.
it's hard to wear those hose skirts in the,
Yeah, that's
snow.
what I'm saying.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Yeah, let's talk about this. I wonder. Well, never mind. I'll come back to that. Paul Stanley is defending Kiss's well-chronicled history with groupies. Well, let's pause here right there because you know already where this is going, right? Paul Stanley's all of a sudden getting caught up like everybody is in the so how old were these girls? How did this all
Right.
play out? What happened again, Paul? Tell us.
How much
So-
baby oil did you use?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it a Diddy party? That's what they want to know. He described the relationships as, quote, wholesome flings in which nobody got hurt. I don't think we promoted ourselves for what was going on backstage or at hotels. He was on Steve-O's podcast. It was just common knowledge. I mean, people were just seeing what was going on, and it was terrific. What a great life. It's everything that people imagine and more. Now, he went on to note that Kiss's connection with the groupies went beyond sex.
Oh.
Well, that makes it all better,
Right.
Paul. That makes everything better if your relationship with groupies went beyond sex, right? Come on, man. He said, the interesting thing was for all the girls, groupies, young women, whatever they were. No, sounds very classy when you say it like that, Paul. It's very,
Whatever they were.
very respectful. These girls, groupies, young women, whatever they were. And it was really kind of, no pun intended, wholesome, he declared. Paul, when you're doing the London Bridge, you can't call that wholesome, okay? He said they were there because they loved music.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they would travel with you. They would do your laundry. You go to movies with them. Nothing tawdry about it. It was companionship. And they loved music, and I loved them. So it was a good trade-off. During the conversation on groupies, Stanley was asked who takes the cake between he and his bandmate, Gene Simmons. He said, it depends on what you consider the cake. When the Jackass star suggested it was more honest to have a one-night stand than pretend a relationship could ever be something more, Stanley said different circumstances call for different behavior. The women who would come to shows weren't coming in there to be courted. You have tonight, and we all know that. You know that. I know that. It's very simple. Nobody got hurt. Nobody ever walked away feeling disrespected. According to the singer Kiss and their groupies, had an unspoken understanding that everything was carefree and fun. I think Diddy had an unspoken understanding. He didn't speak it to you, but it happened to you.
It was implied.
Yeah. He said we were very upfront, and they were very upfront. They were for a certain reason, so I don't think anybody was deceiving anybody. He could be telling the truth in all honesty, because not everybody, even though you could be a whore, doesn't mean that you got to be a villain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, look, I mean, they had they had women throwing themselves at them. I promise you that all the time. I mean, that's rock and roll. That's,
sex, drugs, rock and
yeah.
roll. That's what I mean.
That's what it's about. So if they're throwing it at you, I mean, if you're rich, you're famous, you're single, what are you going to do? I mean, honestly, are you a villain because they wanted you to?
Oh, I don't know. That's
What?
I don't know. It's just I mean, I get it. Like, obviously, they're throwing yourself at you. They're throwing themselves at you. So I don't know. It's a slippery slope.
Is it? Hey-o. I as long as they're legal age.
Yeah. That's going to
not-
be what the big question is.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Are they old enough?
Right.
After that, then you can go from there. But if they weren't underage and they're showing up and like, hey, I want to get some Paul Stanley or Gene Simmons on me.
Right.
Hey, we can donate the DNA today.
All's fair game. Right?
Yeah, we'll donate the DNA today. I mean, everybody who's famous, why do they get famous? They want adulation. They want to be.
They want to be admired.
They want to be admired. They want to be loved.
Of course.
Right? I mean, isn't that the case?
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to be famous for what they do, their music or whatever, and but yeah, that's the additional bonus.
Well, but again, if being in a band, if you just played in a room with no fans, and you wouldn't want to do it.
No.
And I promise you that part of the culture is a big part of why guys want to be rock stars. You know what I mean? They want to hook up with the ladies.
Right.
I mean, that's a big win for them.
Go learn to sing, play a guitar, and get laid.
Yeah. Now, I'll be honest with you.
we gotta take them out on dates and wine and dine them.
Yeah, you got to do all the work. These guys you're just mad to cut the middleman out.
Life is so unfair.
Look, man. I mean, I would think honestly, after a little while, I mean, it might be exciting for a little bit. Then I'd kind of be like, this is boring, really.
Of that lifestyle? You think so? Yeah.
Well, not the singing and that, but all the
partying, the groupies.
I mean, all the groupies. I mean, it's like, it can only be so fun for so long.
I mean, yeah.
Don't you think?
Well, I think that comes with age and being on the road, really. Like, when you're young and you're starting out and you're famous and everything, of course, you want all the ladies, you want all the glitz and glamour and everything. But, I think when you get to a certain age and time out on the road, you just want that, more partnership than just flings, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out my ass.
Maybe you're right. Maybe when, if I was super young, just starting out and I'm in my 20s, then I probably want to get with all the groupies I can.
Right. But I would agree.
Maybe I'm just thinking through the lens of I'm too tired to do all that now.
Yeah, that's really
You're going to ask me to play a show, travel, and then get it in?
And party and drink.
No, man. I'm not doing that. Give me a spliff. Let me lay down, would you? No, I'm not going to do that. Is there any band that you've ever been such a fan of you would follow from place to place? Have you ever had anyone like that? No, me either.
I've never. That's cool that people can do that, but to me, the financial cost of it is just like, why would you, why? What are you hoping to gain from it outside?
I don't know. I mean, people love to follow their favorite bands. Grateful Dead for a long time was that way. Pearl Jam is that way. I mean, there are some bands. Fish is another band that comes to mind that had a really rabid following.
Yeah.
There are some bands that people do. They just follow them like that. And they're just so beloved, and I don't know how that even happens.
That's what I was going to say. I'd be interested.
Any other band.
I'd be interested to know how much that still happens versus how, because I've heard about that, but I remember, it being popular with the older bands. Like, geez, that was AC/DC, and
Hey, the new Daredevil is just about to debut, apparently, or it will be in 2025. They're now running teasers for it. Are you a fan of Daredevil at all?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, and did you watch it on Netflix at all, or?
You talking about the TV series? The TV show that they made. I caught a couple episodes of it. It was cool. Wasn't I mean, I still like the original movie more, but
Yeah, I got you. Well, Disney's look ahead teaser is says that coming as the Agatha All Along finale airs, the teaser, which came out earlier this morning, delivers launch plans and updates on a range of Marvel programming. The teaser features clips from Deadpool and Wolverine, which comes to Disney soon. What If, and the Daredevil Born Again live action series, along with the Wakanda spinoff. Oh, they're doing that too. Deadpool and Wolverine, November 12th. What If returns for a third season, December 22nd. And the highly anticipated Daredevil Born Again comes March 4th. Further down the line, something called Wonder Man is coming. That'll be December 2025. And Marvel Zombies is coming next Halloween. Now,
Wonder Man?
Wonder Man. Yeah, I don't even know who that is. No Wonder Bread. I don't know Wonder Man.
And Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they're doing here.
Wonder
Where
Man.
are we going with
Where are we?
Wonder
Yeah,
Man?
what is that? How about The Eyes of Wakanda? Well, that animated series will follow Wakandan warriors who've traveled around the world throughout history to find dangerous vibranium artifacts. That's way in the geek weeds for people. Okay, I'm just letting you know. So that should be. I really think Daredevil was one of the better Marvel adaptation series ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you, man, it's hard to beat Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
As an actor. He plays Kingpin, and he is unbelievable in the role. I mean, it's as good a role as any villain that's ever played.
Now, I was never a big comic book fan when I was a kid, so I never got into the big whole Marvel DC split and all that.
Yeah,
My favorite, I guess, superhero, whatever you want to call it, vigilante movie, The Punisher.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of people do like that. The series is very, 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 very well loved. It was out roughly the same time as Daredevil, and the character, matter of fact, made an appearance in Daredevil, and then they went on to have their own series. And that actor, and I'm trying, John, I can't think of it, Bernthal. Man, he is unbelievable. Yeah. No, look, if you like The Punisher, I swear to God, you should watch the Netflix series that came out. It's unbelievable, man. That guy's as gritty as it gets, man. He's the best Punisher that's ever played the Punisher. And there have been a handful of them. Thomas Jane played the Punisher.
Right.
Trying to think who else did. There have been 2 or 3 people who have played it. I mean, there have been some adaptations of that.
Was it Jude Law or something?
I don't know about that, about Jude Law doing it, but
Amanda Parker says, Wonder Man in a constant state of confusion.
Well, maybe. I don't know who the hell it is. So, yeah, it's possible, Amanda, that it is that way.
Wonder Man pronouns are him and her.
Let's see. What else to say here? You hear that? Man, it's raining out there pretty bad. Okay, so good morning, boys, Domo said. Andy said, yeah, no rain tonight. It's going to clear out and be a nice day. High, low 70s. Jeff Holsizer said, good to see you, bro. What's up, man? Good to see you, Jeff, or at least read you. When it starts to get boring, you just switch holes, Domo said. What is he talking about?
He's talking about earlier when we were talking about the groupies and everything.
Oh.
He was also saying, he said, no, that's free,
Oh, no.
I was going to say, I don't know.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I even read that, man. What's wrong with you, Domo? What are you doing, man? Here.
Bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
All right, let's change this up a little bit.
Morning motivations. Your office cubicle cannot hold you back. Unless, of course, you want to keep your job. Then you better stay in there. But if you want to go on welfare or something, go for it, dude. You won't need much food. You're a butterfly. This is a morning motivation. Yay.
That's great.
Thank you for that. Needed my morning motivation this morning.
You got it.
I got it.
This is the segment, not like the other.
People do stupid shit. You say, oh brother. Hey, it's not a copy or a clone of any previous bit. But if you think so, hey, we don't give a shit. Yeah. Wackadoos in the news. A Halloween superfan, Maggie Martin, has transformed an old hearse into a unique camper van for her spooky road trips. Maggie bought the Vauxhall Carlton Eagle, affectionately named Hetty, for $1,000 on Friday the 13th last year, and has since customized it with a bed, sofa, curtains, and eerie decorations. She said, look, I love Halloween. People stop to take pictures. Neighbors think it's quirky, like the Addams Family. Maggie's unconventional camper has become actually a massive attraction. A lot of people pass by, stop, take pictures, selfies, things like that. She said, not many people bother you if you're in a hearse. She sees the car as more than just a camper, hosting Halloween parties, helping with visual learning for special needs groups. The hearse's previous life doesn't faze her. Some people ask if it bothers me that dead bodies were in there, but it really doesn't. Would it bother you if dead bodies had been in the car?
No, I don't think so.
All right, let me ask you this question, because I've seen this play out before, and it's always interesting to hear people's take. But let's say you were going to buy a home.
Okay.
And you found out before you've done so that someone was murdered there.
Ooh.
Would that change what you were doing? Would that make you not buy the home?
No, not outright. I mean, I'd probably inquire as to, whether there's any extra activity going on or anything like that in the house.
Yeah.
But, just because somebody was murdered in it.
No, that's not enough for you.
That's,
I'm just going to ask for a little off. Will you cover a little bit of my closing costs?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean I get a deal? Is there a dead people
Right,
deal?
yeah. Is there a
Yeah, you can kill a
Somebody
couple
was
more
murdered
in
in
here if
this
you can
house.
knock some of my closing costs down.
$10K discount on this
I'll
house.
recommend
People
some.
were killed, yeah.
A man recently shared an odd story on Reddit about discovering his roommate of 2 years had secretly been sleeping under his bed for months. He explained he heard strange noises under his bed one night about 3 a.m. Thinking it was a mouse, he got a flashlight and looked. He was shocked to find his roommate, Carl, there under my bed, staring wide-eyed at me, and he screeched when I looked under the bed. The man, who immediately fled the apartment in fear, later received unsettling texts from Carl, who admitted he had been sleeping under there for several nights a week for 3 or 4 months. Carl claimed he was doing it to get closer and physically saturate each other. Wow.
These were roommates, right?
Yes.
What you-
Now staying with a friend, the man shared that Carl has been blowing up his phone with apologies. Some responses to the post claim the man is overreacting, while others have come to his defense. No, there's no defense for you sleeping under my damn bed.
No.
What are you talking about? You want to physically saturate each other. You get your ass out of here and get on down the road. We ain't doing hell no.
Sounds like he just avoided being another episode on one of those ID channels.
No,
shows,
that's exactly what just happened.
My roommate murdered me.
Yeah, he barely escaped that one, I promise you. That is insanity for sure. Man, can you hear that? Rain is
dude,
pounding,
it's
man.
coming down.
It is. A controversial sculpture. Well, we talked about that earlier, so I'm going to skip that. It was a terrible sculpture, and you don't care about
Kind of
it.
looks like an upside down shocker as I was looking at
Let's see. Caleb Williams was arrested in Neptune Beach, Florida, after waving a machete during a confrontation at an early voting site. He, along with 7 other young men, went to the location intending to protest and antagonize the opposing side, escalating to Williams raising a machete in a threatening manner toward 2 women. To say your piece is your First Amendment protected right, but that goes out the window the moment you raise a machete over your head in a threatening manner. That's according to the police chief. Yeah, he's now in custody, and the location remains open for voting. 2 suspected jewel thieves were caught relaxing at a 4-star Miami Beach hotel days after they stole $1.7 million from a Tennessee jewelry store. Orlando Hernandez and Melanie Garcia arrested Sunday at the Grand Beach Hotel following the October 23rd heist at Nashville's Dubai Jewelry, where they were seen on camera in bad disguises. Detectives tracked them through social media and alerted Miami Beach police, who found stolen jewelry and a blonde wig resembling the one used in the robbery. Why wouldn't you leave the state, the country? You just robbed 1.7 million and you're just going to go down to Miami to a hotel? What are you, stupid?
Right?
Oh, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Today's
that's
episode of World's Dumbest Criminals.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely just ridiculous, man.
Maybe it's time for a profession change, because that one
no,
seemed to work out too well.
You're
for
clearly not a good criminal, so you get what you get here. All right, let's take a look at this. This is kind of crazy. A tongue-in-cheek recruitment ad for a $145,000 aged care position has promised to bring sexy back to the female-dominated industry. Mars Recruitment uploaded several ads to Seek on Tuesday for a clinical nurse manager position available at an aged care retirement center, is what it is, okay? With the headline, Bringing Sexy Back to Aged Care. The position is offered in Queensland, that's Australia, and comes with a base salary of $130,000 to $145,000 and benefits. They said, look, maybe nursing home will never be labeled as sexy, but let me tell you what it always was, always is, and always will be. Absolutely, undeniably beautiful. That's what the recruitment manager said. I don't mean to besmirch that, but have you ever been in a nursing home?
No. I mean, just to visit, but yeah.
Typically, they're not beautiful, and they
no.
don't smell real good either. I don't know if you know that, but some of those people poop their pants over there, you know? Okay, let's check this out. This is pretty fun. Drunk. Now, you've seen monkeys do it, right? Scientists discovered that monkeys, lemurs, birds also love to feast on fruit and nectar containing alcohol. The fermented fruits typically have up to 2% alcohol by volume, but the researchers explained that some overripe fruit had 10.2% alcohol by volume. They observed the primates among the largest groups that intentionally get drunk, just like humans. Chimpanzees were documented using leaf sponges to collect sap with noticeable alcohol concentration and continue to consume it. So they did a big study, and I guess it says, hey, guess what? Animals like to get drunk too.
Right. I was gonna say, after a hard day of swinging through the forest or
look,
entertaining the kids banging on the glass at the
I
zoo.
mean, you don't have TV and whatnot as a monkey. There's only so much you can do. Why not drink the booze? I mean, it seems like a good way to have a little time, have a little fun and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I think drunk monkeys would be great.
Throw a couple back, fling some poo,
Oh, yeah, fling a little
night.
poo. That is a good night. Any night you can get hammered and fling your poo is nice. That's very true. It's a great point, man. Great point. Ring doorbells might be designed to spot physical intruders, but that hasn't stopped the high-tech devices from catching some of Britain's strangest supernatural trespassers in terrifying detail. With Halloween being today, Ring has released footage of a paranormal activity caught by members of the public. In one of the videos, an orb is spotted on camera as it drifts across a kitchen. The lady, Rebecca Reeves, who submitted the footage, said she thinks the spectral apparition could be a deceased relative stopping in to say hello. I think it's an orb with the way that it glides like that. And I didn't feel uneasy about it because I'm not really sure what it is. Look, I'm going to feel real uneasy if there's any orb flying through my house of any kind. She said, I did look online about orbs and their nature, and I didn't read anything negative about them.
I mean, yeah,
So it didn't make me, maybe it's just a relative keeping an eye on our dog when we pop out. This sounds insane. If you got orb, look, this is probably a little drone or something they were playing around with. You can't be this calm having some kind of supernatural orb coming through your house.
It could have been anything, but an orb, like they said, it's not necessarily so. It's just a ball of energy of some sort. It can't do anything to you. It can't hurt you.
Well, is it a light or is it an actual ball?
It's just like, so it's a, you wouldn't even know it's there otherwise. But all it is basically like, have you ever seen a picture and you see like a little perfect circular ball
yeah,
of light or whatever? It could be dust, could be anything.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that's what an orb is.
I thought you could physically hold it. It was actually like a metal type orb.
No, you're talking like something just starts, no.
Oh, well, that's different kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
you
You're
can't
just
even
talking about
see
a
it through your-
reflection of
yeah.
light?
Yeah.
I'll get the hell out of here with that story. A Pennsylvania woman who recently celebrated, you ready, her 114th birthday,
Oh, there we go.
being recognized as the oldest living person in North America. She credits her long life to abstaining from everyday vices. Now, that's funny because I've heard lots of people who get up to the elderly years credit that they had a drink of whiskey every day or smoked a cigarette.
You know, I really think there's no secret to living long. Just do whatever you want, and it's going to happen when it happens.
Well, I would say avoid ditty parties
Yeah,
and
that's probably
train
a good one.
tracks. Yeah. Naomi Whitehead, who was born in 1910, that's before the Titanic sank, replaced Elizabeth Francis as the oldest person in North America. She died at 115 just a few days ago. Francis was the third oldest person in the world at the time of her death. Let's see. Whitehead has credited longevity to abstaining from smoking and drinking, but says good genes played a role. Yeah, I think that certainly is a huge part in it because sometimes you see people, for example, who, live a good life and don't drink, or I say a good life, but you know what I mean, a cleaner.
They don't drink, they don't
they
smoke,
do all
they
that stuff, and they fall over of a heart attack at 50. And then you see people who are absolute alcoholics just drinking a gallon a day, and they're somehow 80 years old and still grinding and
That's why I said
acting like fools.
There's no rhyme or reason to it. Just
No.
do what you're going to do.
No, definitely DNA plays a part in that. Your health history and heritage. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Okay, here's a dog that's probably making as much or more than you do. Yeah, I said it. A dog resembling a human, generating income by posing in amusing outfits for TikTok. Callum Barber outfits his 2-year-old Cane Corso. That's a type of Mastiff. They are one of the biggest dogs in the world. By patting their arms and legs to create the illusion of a muscular man. The dog's expression and calm demeanor win over viewers, even as she's posed in various situations like pretending to do pull-ups or relaxing in a deck chair. So how much does she make? Well, at least $1,000 a month.
Wow.
The dog's making at least $1,000 a month. That's better than most part-time jobs.
I was going to say, that's almost half my income.
Yeah, that's absolutely ludicrous. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and do something more. Give me just a minute, and we're going to have something awesome happening here. I'm going to take just a brief intermission.
Listen, what else you got to do in the morning?
Okay, we are back now, and scoot in over here where everybody can see you, man. All right, and big thanks to Rich Rockwell, who arranged for this interview to happen. Introduce yourself, man. Tell us who you are.
Hey, good morning. Thank you guys for having me on this morning.
Get on the mic. Okay, now what group are you affiliated with as a wrestler?
Yeah, so my primary organization right now is Gladiator Championship Wrestling, based out of Ozark, Arkansas. I've also wrestled for Action Wrestling Entertainment out of Searcy, South Central Wrestling out of Mountain Pine, Arkansas. And then this weekend, of course, is part of the reason why I'm here, Lionheart Championship Wrestling this Saturday in Mulberry, Arkansas.
Lionheart Championship Wrestling in Mulberry. So you have a big bout going.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going up against some guy named Bo Betton. There's been some social media traction out there this week. I dropped a promo. He dropped a promo. With the last name like Betton. I told this guy that I've made my fortune betting against guys like him, and that's what I intend to do this Saturday night.
Is take him out, huh?
Take him out.
Okay, now.
He looks kind of like if you're familiar with the Liver King guy who
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of had
yeah.
the steroid thing going
Yeah.
here a while back. So that's a lot what this guy reminds me of. And so I plan on shutting him up this weekend once and for all.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Now, how did you get into wrestling? When did you get into it, and how?
Yeah. So originally I was got into it. I was really big into it when I was a kid. I was turned on to it by my family probably when I was 4 or 5 years old. Stayed with it probably up until high school, and then honestly, I kind of forgot about it up until just a few years ago. Then my son got into it, and then we went and checked out a show in Mountain Pine, Arkansas, in May of 23.
Okay.
And that's where I met Rich the first time, and he was the ring announcer there. I had met with the guy who read that promotion, Antonio Reyes. I linked up with him, and I started my training with him. Did 5 or 6 months, and then I started getting bookings here and there. But again, that's where I got my foundational training. But I'm a firm believer that continuous training. I'm a lifelong learner. Ahead of our Lionheart Championship Wrestling event this week, we have former WWE star Rodney Mack coming in for a seminar for professional wrestlers.
Wow, that's big, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
Huge.
So tell me, when you're, what is it that has you so passionate about doing this? That's what I want to know. What motivates you?
Well, when I first started this gig, I was a heel, and so if you're those who aren't familiar, a heel is the bad guy in the story.
Yeah.
And I really just I fed off of that. In real life, obviously, I'm a good guy, but out there in the wrestling world, I play a heel character, and I just kind of fed off of the booze, and every event I would go to, the booze would get louder and louder and louder, and I kind of just fed off of that energy and kind of interacting with the crowd, and kind of I'm going through a transitional period right now where I've despite some of my antics, I'm gaining some fans and getting some cheers out there, and not just booze. And so, getting hugs from kids out there.
That's what I was gonna say at the recent GCW event. Not this last time, but the month before that, we saw you were teamed up with Diamond Land, and
Yes.
there was some dissension among the ranks there after the match. And then last month we saw you offer your services to the American Classics, and now you're teaming up with them. So
I'm
so interested to see what's going on here, man.
Yeah, so it started a couple months ago. Me and my partner Luther Z Diamond, we were part of Diamond Land, and we made it into. I guess we became number one contenders. We had a triple threat tag team match with Psychoactive, and then Billy the Kid and his partner, and then we won that, became the number one contenders. And because Luther and I had never held gold together before, there was an opportunity once we went against the legendary Iceman Steve Frost and his partner Chris Cage, where Luther had grabbed one of their titles and was going to use that to get our win. And because that was going to be our first win together, I wanted it to be special. And again, I have my own ways of getting to the top, but I felt that was a special moment and didn't really want to ruin it and be called a fraud or a fluke because we cheated to win our first championship titles together. That resulted in them turning on me. I took a super kick, but then Iceman and Chris Cage came back out to the ring and kind of ran Diamond Land off. Later in the night, we found out that they were going to be going up against the Texas Outlaws this past weekend. And so just to kind of return the favor, I offered my services because the Texas Outlaws had a third member, and they're known to kind of skirt the rules a little bit. And so that's what happened this past weekend. It ended up turning into a 6-man tag, and we beat them boys down.
Yes, you did.
You beat him down. Hold on, let me help you. Stuck there. There you go.
There we go.
So tell me this, how long, how long do you have to work to get into a position to even battle for a championship like that? I mean, that's got to take a lot of work and a lot of commitment to even get that opportunity, right?
Sure, and I think it's different for everybody else. How quickly you pick up on things, how quickly you can adapt in the ring, be flexible. You've got to be able to read the crowd, but then when it comes down to getting the championship, I mean, you just got to make a statement. just keep beating guys down. I was a part of a Heartland Championship tournament earlier this year and made it to the finals. And I got there just by beating guys down.
Just beating them down.
Now, I'm more of a brawler. You'll see some big power moves from me, but I've got a boxing background, and so I kind of utilize a lot of that experience and background, and kind of get over on a lot of these guys.
So let me ask you this: you say you trained for several months. What does that? What kind of training is involved when you do that?
Sure. So I had started off with some very old school training. We're starting up with a lot of old school chain wrestling, locking up, headlocks, arm bars, and then we'll transition into some of your bigger moves, learning body slams, backdrops, and then it kind of just goes and goes from there. But then once you complete your foundational training, it's kind of like, hey, you see something new that somebody else did, or if you have a creative mind, you can kind of create your own set there. Then there's more training opportunities, like I said, not just that foundational training that you graduate from a school and now you're ready to be a wrestler. Just going back to the conversation of continuous training. And so there's always opportunities to continue to learn and grow.
Yeah, to improve your craft, of course. So what is your, where do you see yourself going in the next 12 months in your wrestling career? Where are you headed to? What's going on?
Sure. So in the next 12 months, I'm going to be expanding out and not just wrestling in Arkansas. I've been getting a lot of offers and invitations to come out to Oklahoma, to Texas. There's a few promotions out there that I'll be going to in 2025. And, I don't know. We'll just kind of see where the road goes. I'm just doing this right now. I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you kind of got into it because of your son, right?
Correct.
Now, does he come to all your matches and watch you perform?
Well, when I first started, I was losing a lot, and so he kind of got tired of coming there for a while. And
now that's a good answer.
It got to the point where I'm like, "Hey, you're gonna go with me to watch the show tonight?" And he's like, "I don't know. Are you gonna lose? If you're gonna lose, I don't want to go."
He said, "Now you're a punk bitch, Dad. I'm not doing it now."
That's pretty much what it boiled down to.
Yeah. How old's your son?
He will turn 9 in February.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's still really into this, man.
Yeah.
He's really like this is reality to him, man. Probably it is hard to keep coming and watching Dad get that ass beat. To be honest with you. So now that you kind of turned the corner and everything, hopefully, he'll start to get excited again.
Yeah, he definitely is. And I was in a triple threat tables, ladders, and chairs match here a few months ago over the summertime, where I won tag team titles with another member of Diamond Land, Blue Dreams, and we held him for a couple of months. But he went to that match and was excited about that, and kind of that reignited his fire and his passion, and his dad being a wrestler.
Yeah.
And not being just a loser. So.
Okay. All right.
They're wanting to know if y'all can slide a little bit more this way. So
Here, slide this way. There you go. Come in a little bit more.
We like to be, close. We're close friends around here.
Oh, too much?
There you go. No, you're good. You're good. So, Rich, for people out there who are watching right now, listening right now, that they're like, man, I want to be like this guy. I want to wrestle too. What's the first step for them?
Training.
I understand.
School.
So just find a school is step one.
There's like he had mentioned Antonio Reyes. He owns and operates, what is it, Aztec
Warrior Training Facility,
and that's out in Hot Springs.
Yep.
And I believe there's is it Bumps and Bruises or 501?
There's Bumps and Bruises, 501. I think they have a sister school down in the Dallas area as well.
And there's one here in Little Rock somewhere.
Yes, sir.
That I've heard of. Yeah.
Now there's a few of them here in Arkansas, and then of course once you get your foundational training again, there's always seminars you can learn from our veterans who are at the shows. If you get there early enough, and can kind of fine tune some of your skills that way as well.
I'm curious, you look at like an industry like martial arts, for example, and Taekwondo, right?
Yeah.
And Taekwondo is huge across the planet, but you have both adults and kids that take Taekwondo training, right? Mm-hmm. And I assume that you're not sending your kid out to beat people's ass every day. So do they offer that for kids in wrestling as well? I mean, can kids start younger and build up some skill set so that when they do turn of age, they could immediately get into the ring? Is that something that happens?
I haven't seen it myself, but I wouldn't see where it's not
Yeah,
allowed.
so I do know that the Bumps and Bruises Academy, when I was looking into going to that school a few years ago, they actually have a kids program. I think where you can start as early as 8 years old. Now it's
Yeah.
obviously not as intense as
Well,
what the
right,
adults
right.
are going through, but it does build up some of those foundational skills that you need to be successful in the ring.
I'm just thinking to myself, look, if I was a kid, right, and I had a choice of taekwondo or being able to learn how to suplex someone, I mean, it's a no-brainer, man. I mean, and I would think there have to be an abundance of kids out there who would
I'm sure.
absolutely
Oh, yeah.
love that,
Yeah.
you know, and maybe you could put on maybe a kids clinic
Yeah.
every once in a while or something that would probably not only bring in a lot of potential new future wrestlers, but might also cultivate some additional
I
fans.
was gonna say you might just be onto something there.
Yeah, I think that is a $1 billion idea to be, and not to say it is, but I think legitimately that could really bode well for you guys and put a lot of eyes on it.
Yeah,
There's
you
your
know.
fortune, Chris Fortune.
Yeah,
Let's
and
get
you
working
know,
on it.
kind of to that point, Gladiator Championship Wrestling and of course Lionheart Championship Wrestling is the developmental brand underneath Gladiator Championship Wrestling, which is underneath the Universal Wrestling Alliance. They just recently developed a performance center based out of Greenwood, Arkansas.
Really?
And I kind of made an inquiry because my son being interested in it. You know, if they were going to offer some sort of training with children, obviously there'd be waivers to sign.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a real possibility. So, you know, if you're whether you're in the Little Rock area or if you're out closer on the western side of Arkansas, there's definitely opportunities. Now, my son, I just got my own ring this past weekend. I went and picked it up from Memphis.
Oh, that's cool,
Me
man.
and him are wrestling all the time, and you know, on the floor, which you know, I'm taking bumps all the time. So me falling on the
Right.
floor really isn't a big deal. Or when my wife's gone, we'll use the bed and use the ceiling fan as kind of what's holding up the championship belt.
Right,
or having
right,
our ladder matches or whatever. But you know, now that I have this ring, he's been after me to get it for a long time. He's like, "When are we getting our ring? When are we getting our ring?"
And let me
And-
tell you, those rings are not cheap.
No, they're
yeah.
definitely not cheap. Did you buy it new? Did you buy it used?
I bought it used from a promoter out of Memphis. He had just retired this past weekend.
So where does that go, in the backyard?
Go in the backyard.
Okay.
I think I toyed with the idea for a long period just for the simple fact of I wanted to have it up all the time and not have to, like how where I was training at one point in time, we had to like take the ropes off, take the mat off,
Right.
take the cover off,
To
and
bring it
boom, it's
down,
like-
basically.
because of the weather, right?
Right.
And so, and I do know that they have mat covers that are weatherproof, but I was also looking for some, you know, some shelter for it.
I got you.
But then I was like, well, if I do that, I'm never going to get one. So first step, just get the ring, and then I'll figure out what's next. If I
Okay.
have to break it down for a little bit, we will.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I think that would be the dopest kids program ever, man.
Yeah.
I really
I
do
agree.
think
I
that
think there'd be a ton of them.
I think
they'd
they'd line up. I'm gonna tell you what, you put one in Saline County, and every damn kid, they'll quit football. You won't even have a football team anymore. They'll all be like, I want to go off the top rope, Dad. That's all I give a damn about. Okay.
High flying superstars.
Yeah, man. So what is I mean, obviously you kind of have a I'm going to go with a Jim Morrison-esque, but I'm certain that's not the right thing. What how would you describe your look here?
Well, I've been called Thomas Edison 3000. What else have I been called? But essentially, I'm kind of playing an arrogant, rich prick
Gotcha.
guy. I can't say kid because I'm getting up there in age at this point.
Yeah, I feel you. Me too, I think.
But you know, kind of, I'll do whatever it takes to get to the top. You know, skirting the rules. One of my finishers, I actually use a pair of brass knuckles. If the challenge is too tough for me, and
You pull out the old brass
Pull out
knuckles,
the
and
brass
a
knuckles.
little underhanded stuff, huh?
yeah,
Now, what tell me, do you have like I guess everyone does, like a signature move that you
Yeah.
employ?
yeah. So I have a signature, and then we have a kind of a finisher. And so my signature move usually is just the spear. So
Okay.
you know, I'll usually hit that, and it's I don't know if it's just the way I deliver it, but it kind of looks like almost a flying spear when the way that I hit the guys, and There was one specifically when I went up against Luther Zay Diamond at another promotion one-on-one. He was coming at me for a corner splash, and I caught him midair, and just it went into a spear.
So is that would you say that kind of could be inspired by the Edge?
Oh yeah, definitely. I saw Edge and Christian a lot growing up. They were two of the first in the tables, ladders, and chairs match, something that I got to participate in earlier this year. So
that was kind of a full circle moment, I bet, for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And then also more recently, Roman Reigns. That's someone who utilizes that.
Yes,
and then,
yes.
and there's a few other members of the bloodline that use it as well. But my finisher move is I call it the King's Cross, but it's essentially a razor's edge.
Okay.
And so the guy gets up over on the back, and I've got him kind of spread out, almost kind of like he's being crucified.
Yeah.
And he comes down.
Then you face down on that. Yeah.
So,
Now, go ahead.
I was just going to say a couple questions from,
okay.
from
Let's-
viewers on Facebook.
yeah.
They want to know kind of, how long before the match do you know kind of what the idea is that's going to happen? And also, how do you determine what's going to happen in the match?
Sure. So, and it's kind of different. I have had opportunities where I've known the people and we live close enough to where we can kind of talk things out and kind of get on the same page. And I have been in opportunities or situations where I've had 5 minutes to no prep time other than talking about, how are we going to wrap the thing up?
Right. Okay.
And then once we're inside the ring, of course, an important part of it is just listening to the crowd, working
Yeah.
with
How
your
did?
partner. Yeah.
That's a great question. I appreciate you kind of laying that out because, I'm always curious because these moves. Say what you want. They're very athletic and they are they can be injury. They can cause injury.
Oh,
they
yeah.
can be
They'll
dangerous.
still look up sore.
Absolutely. So how is it that or they know what you're about to do in the ring? How is it that you are able to communicate that stuff? Is it just because of the training? Is it just because of you talk to one another through it? How does that really work?
It's a mixture of both. It's the training, but it's also the communicating with each other that you and of course those skills are honed and sharpened through
Right.
training and just having more and more matches. But yeah.
Who is your favorite wrestler when you were growing up, or wrestlers?
Oh man, it's got to be my boy DJ Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Oh, okay.
He is
Yeah,
number one.
everybody loves
I
The
grew,
Rock.
I grew up in the Attitude Era, so
Yeah.
The Rock, Stone Cold, had DX. I was a big Shawn Michaels fan at one point in time.
That is the greatest era, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And they say that they're trying to return to that. They're trying to bring back the Attitude Era. I don't know if that's how you see it, but that's what I keep hearing.
There's a lot of changes on the horizon. WWE they're going to Netflix in January. I think.
Are they really?
Yeah.
They're leaving regular and going to
leaving
Netflix?
regular TV and going to Netflix. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm
so I'm
surprised
sure-
to hear that.
Yeah, so I'm sure that's going to be a little nod back. I don't know. Originally they had the Attitude era, and then they went to the PG era, and the kids and everything kind of went back to their roots, and so I don't know if they're going to go full back to Attitude.
Well, I don't know if they would or not.
Line,
I guess it does cycle to some extent, but it was a better era as far as everything goes. The storylines were more fun.
Oh yeah.
The wrestling to me was more entertaining than a lot of what I see. Not saying they're not doing a great job now.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to add on to that and to Rich's comment there about them moving to Netflix, and that obviously removes the PG rating that they're going by right now. You started to see when The Rock made his return earlier this year, they started to see blood on TV, which was something that you hadn't seen in a long time.
Okay.
The TV programs were having to mute a lot of his promos because of the F-bombs he was dropping.
The Rock was?
Yeah. So
Okay, so
he was really digging into that heel character.
So, The Rock, look, he's been a big time Hollywood actor for some time now, and periodically he's come back. I mean, he came back for what was that, a 2-year run with John Cena that did culminate in a match, but there weren't matches before that. So he kind of does a little bit, but is he really coming back now? Do you think, is he really returning to the ring, or is it more of an appearance based, like just to build up promotional?
Right. So earlier this year, at the beginning of the year, I think it was Royal Rumble or right around after Royal Rumble, maybe it's in February, but he's leading up to WrestleMania. He made his return, and that was his first match in several years. And so, to that point there, I think he's coming back, but of course, with that busy Hollywood schedule, it's hard to get him back for long periods of time. I know there was a discussion about having him build up and have that big Roman Reigns and Rock match at WrestleMania 41. But
is that what the aim is? Maybe.
Yeah. Well, it was supposed to be WrestleMania 40, and then it got pushed with some backlash with Cody Rhodes, and that's kind of when Rock went from that baby face to that heel character and kind of dug into it. However, I think he just announced recently, or not, maybe he didn't announce it, but reports came out that I guess his movie schedule is going to prevent him from being at WrestleMania 41. So, maybe we'll see the match sooner. Maybe hopefully it doesn't get pitched another year. But I know leading up to this year's WrestleMania, he went through a 12-week intensive training camp to kind of get back up into speed. And I thought he looked really sharp to be 52 years old, I think.
Oh,
yeah. He went through to get back up to speed.
Yeah, and then he went through MMA school for a movie. So MMA training.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For some,
I
can't remember the name of the movie, but he went through some MMA training immediately after WrestleMania.
Did he need to be able to kick any more ass than he did? I mean, that seems like a lopsided amount of ass kicking for one man.
He just has a well-rounded approach.
No, that's great. That's great. All right, let's hold on. We'll do a little something different real quick here.
Patrick and the people.
You say elevator, I say fart locker. What?
Do you live or work in Conway, and are you a vapor? Yeah, listen, stop going to crappy gas stations to get your vapes. Go to Crazy J's. They've got 2 locations in Conway, every kind of flavor you can imagine. Not only that, but if you love the electric lettuce, and who doesn't, they've got all kinds of glassware, some of the coolest stuff that you've ever seen. So no matter whether you're trying to get your vape on or your bud on, Crazy J's is the way to go. Check them out. They've got 2 locations in Conway. Crazy J's for all your vape and smoke needs, baby. You know what? As a real estate agent, putting you with the right mortgage person is critical. One of my favorites to work with is Josh Taylor at AMC Mortgage, and I'll tell you why. A lot of guys out there are stiff. They treat you like a number. Josh treats you like a friend. He's going to work through with you on everything you need. Look, he just got a pair of my clients into a home with $500 total. Yeah. Paid the closing and the down payment costs all covered in there. I'm not saying that's what you're going to get, but I'm saying that's how good he is. Check him out. Give him a call, 351-2579. It's Josh Taylor at AMC Mortgage. If you're looking for a local mortgage guy, that's one that I recommend. Okay, here we are. We're back again. Man, I tell you what, I couldn't be more thankful for our advertisers and sponsors. And I've really been getting some great feedback from many of you out there that are sponsors, that are getting phone calls and picking up, inquiries and things from our listeners and viewers. And so keep reaching out to these folks. They're helping keep us on the air. Please, support them. They support us, and we appreciate it a great deal. Real nice post yesterday that Bonnie Robertson from Robertson, Oswald, and Noni posted about their success with our advertising and how happy they were with being part of it. Yeah, no, it's just a really wonderful thing to see and to hear. So I'm very thankful, and let's just keep it going. And listen, look, if you've got a business, matter of fact, if you've got a business, it's super cheap, way cheaper than you probably imagine to advertise on this program. Okay. And right now we only allow local small business to advertise, no large companies, no big corporations. Now, one day that may change. Matter of fact, I would bet that it will change at some point. Some company will come along and say, I want to offer you this much. And I'm going to go, okay, yeah, I want to be rich. I'll do it. Yeah. But otherwise, we're still only giving back to the small business community here. So it's a real straightforward, simple deal. It's 1 month at a time. It's not a long-term contract, and you can just reach out to us via the website. Real simple. We've got a contact form there, and just tell everybody about it. By the way, again, another record day yesterday on streaming numbers after the show, the podcast numbers.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are downloading the podcast. Also, we're starting to see the map really spread out.
Nice.
We're seeing people, again, so blessed, people all over the world, all over the country, both listening to the program, watching the program. And that's, man, that's a great feeling to have. So couldn't be thankful enough to everybody out there for all that you do for us.
Well,
So,
of course, Long, thank you for the support, but thank you for coming up with it, man. I mean, it's been an awesome platform for all of us, including myself. So
well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's really exciting to be back and to be part of the community again. It was really difficult, believe it or not, to sit for 6 months and not do anything. Not be able to really make the kind of video content I wanted to make, not broadcast anything, not do anything. I just that was the deal I made
right.
in order to leave. They said, yeah, we'll let you go, but you're going to have to sit over here and not threaten us for 6 months, and so I did. I was a good boy, kind of, and here we are now. But I'm always thankful and grateful. Don't ever think that that's not the case. Now, what do you got going for Halloween tonight with your kid?
Well, I don't know. We might get rained out, but if not, I think we're going to go hit some neighborhoods. And then there's some trunk or treats in town that we're going to hit up. He's going this year as a hot dog.
As a hot dog. That's what I was.
He's gonna go
I had that costume laid out this morning. I was going to be the hot dog today, and I was running slightly behind, as everyone knows now, and I left my damn costume, so I wouldn't have time to change into it anyway.
Well, I've got my costume on. I'm ready
I
to go.
see that you're ready to go. You're ready to go. You could be any number of things in that costume. Oh, and so where were y'all trick or treat? You'll trick or treat in Hot Springs tonight?
Yeah, we'll probably stay around Hot Springs.
Now, how old is your kid?
6.
6.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh wow, what an age that is.
Oh, I'm telling you, he keeps me on my toes.
I bet he does, man. That's that age with lots of questions. Everything's a question.
Oh, everything. I know. By like 7:30 at night, I'm like, all right, questions are done. We're done answering them. We're relaxing.
Yeah,
now,
can't
but-
you just watch Transformers or something?
Right,
son?
But I'll tell you what, he usually comes with me to some of the events that I, announce and commentate at, and he has so much fun at them. It's so worth it for kids, man. So worth it.
Well, I think that it's always fun, first of all, for kids to be able to, to have a good relationship and a friend type like that with their parent. I mean, you obviously you have to be a parent. We know that. But, and when I was a kid, and I think maybe a lot of us were similar. In that era, some dads or a lot of dads, it wasn't about they weren't your friend.
You're right.
They didn't want to
I'm
hang
your
out.
friend.
Yeah.
I'm your parent.
They didn't want to hang out. They didn't want to go nowhere with you unless they had to. They'd show up to your sporting event. You know what I mean? And I'm not. That's just kind of a product of how it was a lot of times in that time. So I am like you guys. My sons are some of my closest friends in the world. Matter of fact, I would rather spend time with my sons and my wife than anyone on the planet, period. End of story, So I do cultivate that relationship, and I salute both of you as dads for doing the same thing because, it is important. A lot of people, get caught up in roles, so to speak, but it's good to be close to your kids and be a friend to them. Now, it doesn't mean you're not a parent. Doesn't mean you don't do the things you got to do as a parent. I'm not trying to talk about being a wussy.
Right.
That's different. Okay. But it is good to have a real relationship because when they grow up, you might still have an opportunity to keep talking to them. Otherwise, they're like, what do I care?
Right.
Yeah, I was a dick my whole life. You know what I mean? All right. It is Halloween, and maybe you just finished trick-or-treating. It's time to assess the haul. You have a favorite, whether it's chocolate bars, peanut butter cups, gummies, nerds on them, whatever it might be. For some people, one piece stands out, the Snickers bar, especially the big ones. Anytime you get a full-size candy bar trick-or-treating, that's a banner day right there. Yeah.
You're in the good neighborhoods.
Yeah, no, you're definitely in the good neighborhood. So as a food engineer, this guy says, studying candy and ice cream at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, I look at candy a whole different way than I did as a kid. Back then, it was just about shoveling it in as fast as I could. So this guy's a scientist. He's made a career studying and writing books about confections. He says, I have no trouble sacrificing a piece for the microscope. He said, I don't work for, own stock in, receive funding from Mars, Wrigley, the company that makes Snickers, but in my work, I study the different companies that make up popular candy bars, and Snicker has a lot of the elements you find in your Halloween candy. I don't know where he's going with this. He's just trying to explain, I guess, the science and how it's made, but he said the nougat is really just candy with small sugars distributed throughout. So one of the ingredients in nougat is egg white. Yeah, it's an egg white sugar mixture, and then they add melted fat. So think about that for a minute. That's probably why it's so damn good. That's the best part of the candy right there, the melted fat.
That's what I'm saying.
Then you got the caramel. Have you ever made, and I don't know what the real name of it is. Somebody tell me. I know one of you folks out there in Saline for sure know what I'm talking about, but did your mom ever put like a can of like Eagle brand milk into a pot on the stove and boil it and make caramel? Yes, you did. No?
Maybe not to make caramel. I remember the milk boiling on the stove, but I didn't see what happened after that.
No, you take a can, an actual can of Eagle brand milk. You do not open it. You put it in the pan and you boil it.
Really?
You boil it, and it takes a little while. And when you open it up, it's caramel.
Really?
Yes.
It's just magic.
I gotta see that.
Magic? You think I'm kidding? Yeah, go home and do it and see if I'm kidding. Go home and do it and see if I'm kidding.
Don't open the can.
Do not open the can.
So
And no added
not open
ingredients.
just
No added ingredient, nothing.
take the can, stick
Put
it
it in the
pot,
water,
turn it on
boil it.
hot. Yeah.
Boil it. I would say boil it for 30 minutes. And it may be, somebody may say longer.
I love caramel, so I'm gonna go home and try that.
I swear to God, you will thank me for this later if you like caramel, because it is one of the best, cheapest ice cream or brownie toppings, something like that you can make, because that condensed milk, it's already got the ingredients. It's the sugar, it's the milk, it's everything's in there. But when you boil it, it activates it and it caramelizes. And it's unbelievably good, man.
Gotta try it.
So there's your freebie right there for a little
free Halloween treat.
that's right. That's a Halloween tip. You can get that and do that.
Grab yourself a bag of apples and make some caramel apples at home or something.
All right, let's see. How you guys, Josh Stewart said. Josh, good, man. Ready to get you in here to do a performance, Mr. Stewart. He's quite the accomplished vocalist and guitar player, and can't wait to have him in here.
Nice.
Dear Gigger said Skandar Akbar. Skandar Akbar, man, you're really going back a ways. Skandar Akbar, one of the oldest villains in wrestling. He was back in the days of the Iron Sheik and Andre the Giant and all those guys.
He actually is from about an hour where I grew up from in Texas. He's
Really?
from Vernon, Texas. I grew up in Childress, Texas. My dad remembers him whenever he was wrestling there locally, and I believe that the King of Sports Alliance has an annual cup that they it's like a 6-man tag tournament. The reward is some sort of Akbar trophy
Really?
that the winners win, and I think that's coming up in January.
Oh, nice.
It's always interesting when you find out that these guys were just they weren't really they were super characters. They portrayed people from different places, different countries, and they were just regular
Normal
Joes
guys.
like us. You know what I mean? They just adopted an accent, adopted a culture, basically appropriated a culture, so to speak, and wrestled.
cases.
Well, and in some cases, you know what I mean? But it's amazing when you look back, like Kamala, the Ugandan warrior.
Yeah.
He was a big time wrestler when I was a kid, and he appeared to be from, Uganda. That's what they said, the Ugandan warrior.
Right.
And he had the face paint, and he had the
belly,
moon and the
yeah.
big belly. And then you find out dude's like from Chicago. And you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know that, man. It's interesting.
No Ugandan descent at all.
No, I don't think that he had any Ugandan in him at all, unless it was from a distinct, past, somewhere in the distant past. I think he he grew up right around Chicago or
Yeah.
somewhere like that. I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was a weird thing to find out. Have you guys watched that the wrestling show about or movie about the Von Erichs?
I tried to go watch that with my wife in the theater last year, and she's like, "Well, let's wait and see if your friends want to join us." And we waited and waited, and now she found out that it's a pretty heartbreaking movie because
Yeah.
she wasn't 100% up to speed on the whole background there.
Oh yeah,
And so now she's like, "Oh, I can only watch it if I'm on the right mindset." We haven't
Right.
got there yet, so
I
I'm about
get
to
it.
just watch it by myself. But
okay.
you're not gonna have any spoilers. I mean, I know the story, so
No,
if
no,
Rich
it's-
has something to add.
Have you watched it?
about specifics in the movie?
No,
I've not had a chance. It's been on the list of a million things to do, and
Yeah.
just
I've started watching it. I haven't finished it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I'll say that it is very interesting. It's certainly dark, as you would expect that story to be. If you don't know, the Von Erichs were a very famous wrestling family for a very long time, but particularly in the late 70s, early 80s. The dad Fritz Von Erich started, I think, in the 60s wrestling, maybe even a little before that. But then he had many sons who all became wrestlers, and almost all of them died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of them is still alive, if I'm not mistaken.
there's
They had
one
4 sons and one lived.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like watching that old movie Legends of the Fall.
Yeah.
It just gets worse.
Yeah.
It really does. It just gets worse, But when the Von Erichs were big, man, they were massively.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they were the
guys,
family of
yeah.
wrestling of good guys. They were the best, baby faces in the business, I guess.
Yeah, and I got a funny story about that actually. So
Yeah.
the Von Erichs came. I think this was before I was born, but where my family lives at, they came for some benefit show there out in Texas, and they were playing heel characters, I believe, at the time. But it got to the point where my grandparents were there, and some of my family may think that this is real life, right? And
Right.
so
No,
they're very upset. If you're getting the fans upset, you're doing your job as a heel. Well, that happened, and my grandma actually ended up getting kicked out because she spit on them because they had upset her so bad.
You know what that's crazy about that is my great grandmother was exactly the
Really?
same way. She assaulted a wrestler at the match. He was coming up the aisle. She was mad.
Yeah.
And she assaulted him, and we all got booted out.
Gosh.
The whole family, you get out,
Right, you're
because
done.
she
That's it.
literally just jumped at him and started hitting him, and she probably didn't weigh a buck. She was like 90, man, but she was convinced this
That
guy
is-
was going to hurt the guy she
Yeah.
liked.
Yeah.
She
And
loved
there's-
Danny Hodge. That
Yeah.
was the guy she liked,
Oh.
Danny Hodge. And he was an early on wrestler you probably never heard of, but
I heard a story from an Arkansas legend, Jeff Jett. They were out doing a show in Georgia, and it had got so bad. They had built up so much heat that they had to basically pull an SUV up by the back door and sneak them out with like a blanket over them and get them
Really?
into the vehicle because it was to the point where I think some of the fans went to go get some
they went.
backup.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
terms-
yeah. They got a posse together and like,
that,
we're gonna
that
take these.
and I heard some guns and stuff too. So
Wow, no, that it must have been a while
time
back.
ago,
Yeah,
yeah,
a long time ago.
Wow.
Different kind of wrestling then.
Yeah.
Different kind of wrestling. Let me ask you about this though. As far as doing what you do and being able to maintain your conditioning, and overcoming injury. I mean, look, there was a real tough period. I think we could all agree in wrestling where steroids
Oh, yeah.
really had a huge negative impact on the industry. How do you maintain your health and your physicality without drifting to, something like that?
Oh man, steroids. No, that's all. No.
That's all there is.
steroids,
There's
man.
just roids. There's just
yeah,
roids.
We
no.
just don't talk about
Yeah,
it.
no. So I have a home gym. I did CrossFit. I did boxing, but it was taking time away from my family and other things that I needed to do. So I just invested in a home gym, and I work out 6 or 7 days a week. Even on my rest day, I will go for a walk or something like that. But cardio in the mornings, a little bit of cardio maybe during lunch, and then the evening time is when I'll hit maybe a HIIT style workout.
what style?
So a hit style. So it's high impact.
Okay.
High intensity. So your real quick movements. You may have 2 or 3 different exercises that you're doing.
So let me understand this correctly, because now I think I could. You may be helping me realize why I'm fat. So let me understand again. You get up, and you do a little cardio. You say so. It's I assume that's like either a treadmill or a run.
So it was a run, but here recently I'm really big into rowing. So I invested in a C2 rower. Again, that comes from the CrossFit days. Rowing is really big there. Plus, it's low impact. I'm getting a little older. Trying to take care of my knees and my ankles so that I can be up on them as long as I can. But
so let's say you wake up, you do some rowing, okay, and then you say at lunch you're going to do a little cardio.
Yeah, that would just probably be a walk, 30 or 45-minute walk.
A 30 or 45-minute walk.
Yeah,
and then you're going to come home and do some high impact training.
Yeah, so that'll just be your weights. Some of it may just be super strength focused. Some will just be toning up the muscles and getting stronger without adding on the extra bulk. So.
Well, now we all know why we're fat, don't we? Yeah, now we get it. Now, I understand completely. That's good. That's great, man. That you're that committed to it. I would think. I look at some of these guys who are super muscular, and at some point, there was something going on. But do you think there's still a big culture of supplementary things, and maybe not even steroids, maybe it's HGH, maybe it's human growth hormones, maybe it's this, that, the other, in wrestling as a whole?
From my personal experience, I haven't seen or witnessed or seen anything about it. But I think we're not dumb. It's always been a thing. There's probably those that are still flying below the radar and taking part in that. But from my personal experience, I have not seen any of that.
No, and I wasn't thinking more on the local level. I was thinking more on that, the big stage where, look, I mean, I don't want to be a dick, but I'd be shocked if you told me that The Rock didn't use something. I'd say you're crazy because you can't have muscles on your muscles on your muscles. You can't have 3 levels of shoulder muscle just by lifting. You've got to have some other, whatever it may be. Now, I'm certain that, he's using the cutting edge thing. It could be a beverage made from the souls of kittens. I don't know.
There you go.
But it's something that is top of the line, But I, it was a real tough time. And it really gave a black eye, so to speak, to wrestling for a period of time. All athletics, really.
Oh, yeah.
Now, on the other hand, in baseball, I would argue I wish they'd bring it back because baseball is mainly boring to me now. There was a period, I guess, what was it, the 90s?
Yeah, that's when you had with the Sammy Sosa and
the Mark McGuire's, all them.
The whole home
man,
run.
Listen, those dudes, that was fun baseball. Those dudes, man, they were throwing balls so hard. I think I saw a guy explode on the field when he caught it. They were batting out of the park all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Just booting it. And that, I think you should combine wrestling and baseball, where you can put a body slam on someone trying to get to base. You can drop kick them.
Right?
Yeah, I think they'd be much more entertaining.
Clothesline them. That's not first for you.
Yeah, no, wouldn't that be exciting?
Right, there you go.
Just clothesline the dude, just flip him over end. Man, that'd be the best ever.
I would watch it.
Well, you would watch it.
9 innings of that? Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. You can't survive 9 innings in clothesline like that. I mean, you might make it 6, but yeah, that'd be a sport to watch.
You did say that you were gonna take a move or a chop of some sort today, right?
Yeah, of course I did. I'll take whatever you got.
Make up for the tasing.
Well, yeah, and I'm going to be tased tomorrow, by the way.
Is
Yeah.
it still on?
But I'm down to take a wrestling chop or move or whatever it may be. What do you got? What do you got for
we
me?
can clear out these electronics here. We can put you through this table if you want to.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I don't know, man. You work out a lot. I'm not sure you can pick me up.
No, we can definitely do a hand chop. I don't do them as good as others, but I can.
Yeah.
I know I can deliver.
Well, we can definitely. What we'll probably do is I'll catch a little right after we get done here. We'll do a little video and have some fun with it.
All right.
Okay.
And we'll post that up online and share it with everybody. I think that'd be fun. Have a good time, kind of, just play around with it a little bit. All right, let's do something a little different here. Hold on.
Life hack. Bullhorn fart amplifier.
Give me that bullhorn.
Hey!
Here you go.
Yeah, I don't want to back that.
Patrick and the people.
All right. So I want to tell you about Cabot Mechanical. If you are in need of HVAC service, you get your heat and air. You got a problem with your heat and air, you got a problem with your life. Okay? That's the one thing you don't want going out on you. Not in Arkansas, because in any minute, the weather's going to be freezing or burning, and you're going to be in there doing that. So you need someone you can trust, and Cabot Mechanical, David Lindsay over there. I've known David for a number of years now. What I love about him, he's very honest. He's very dependable, but he'll come out, he'll take a look at the situation and tell you what's going on. Now, he came out the first time that I ever met David, and the reason that I started using him is because he came out and he looked at it, and I'd had someone else come out earlier and tell me I was going to have to replace the whole thing. He came out and he goes, no, you sure don't. We can fix this, and I think you're going to be just fine. And it was just fine, and it continues to be just fine. That's the kind of person you want to work with. If you got a heat and air issue, if you need a new air conditioning unit, don't call those guys who are that rhyme with Whittleton, because they're going to charge you a fortune. Okay, 20%, 30% more easy. Reach out to cabotmechanical.com or call David 502-2720 and tell him I sent you. Great people to work with. You'll be very happy that you did. Okay. All right. Let's get to something else here that we've got. Hold on one second here. And so trick-or-treating tonight, and they're saying that the rain's going to clear out. That's what all the reports I'm looking at are telling me now, that it looks like rain is going to clear out, and there might be some light rain, but really that's about all that's going on in that. So hopefully we'll be okay there, and it's going to be a great Halloween, a great trick-or-treat tonight, and whatnot.
And speaking about trick-or-treating this weekend, I know he's got to be sliding out of here in a few minutes.
Oh, do you?
Here.
Okay.
But I wanted real quick, because we've got trick-or-treating tonight, and then the event coming up in Mulberry you want to talk
Now,
about?
yeah, tell us about the event in Mulberry. What's going on, and when and where and all that.
Sure. So this Saturday night in Mulberry, Arkansas, Lionheart Championship Wrestling. The doors will open at 6 p.m. Bell time is at 7. Our curtain jerker for the night is going to be a tag team unification match inside of a steel cage. So that'll be a great, exciting way to start the show off. Of course, we got some other great matches. We've got my match with Bo Betton, who's going to, take his loss for sure. We've got Brandon Groom, who's also a former WWE star. He's going up. He's got a match tomorrow night. And then current NWA superstar Soda Pop Hendricks is defending his Gladiator Championship World Heavyweight title this weekend as well. And so it's going to be a great show. Again, that's in Mulberry, Arkansas at Lionheart Championship Wrestling. If you're in the area, definitely come check it out. If you got to make the drive, make the drive. It's going to be worth it. I promise you.
Yeah. Now, where is Mulberry at?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So
It's
yeah,
right up
so
in here.
Mulberry. So Mulberry is close to the Fort Smith area. I think.
Okay,
It's 15,
okay.
20, 30 minutes maybe. So it's
Okay.
over in the western part of the state. but-
Okay. But that sounds like it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun tonight.
Oh yeah. Definitely a lot of fun. Like I said, we've got the steel cage. We've got my match. There's some championship title defenses that night. Of course, Rodney Mack is also going to be in action that night, former WWE superstar.
Right.
And then we've got our Matthew DeLuna is going to be the special guest referee in Brandon Groom's match. And there's some heat right now between those guys. And so definitely will be something to watch out there. Make sure that Brandon doesn't get screwed over just because they've got bad blood.
Okay. All right. Well, man, first of all, if you have to bounce here in a minute, we do understand, but it was amazing to have you on the show, and I'd love to have you back on again in the future. So
appreciate the opportunity.
please, get with Rich, and let's get you back in here, and from time to time get updated on what you're doing, what's going on with you, and maybe Rich, if you guys could, I'd love to have a video of you in the ring in one of your matches that we could share on our blog, so that folks can see, hey, this is what he's all about. This is what his finisher is. This is what the guy does, and this is why you want to go see him, so I'd love to get that.
Yeah.
If you could do that, we'll share it on
Absolutely.
our blog. That'd be
Absolutely,
awesome,
I appreciate it, and I
Oh,
appreciate
yeah,
the
man.
opportunity.
Oh,
Thanks,
man, no,
sir.
it was great to have you in here, dude. It was really awesome to have you as a guest. Let's talk about a few other things here before we get into the wrap up on the show. So, according to this, marijuana use among teens has now declined over the past decade. Now, that's interesting just on its own before I even read the next part of it. I mean, with all the, access now, all the stigma that's left weed, marijuana, with all that, is it surprising that the numbers are dropping in the past decade?
I mean, I guess so a little bit to me, but then again, like you said, it's nothing it's not something that's so shunned upon now. It's kind of out there. It exists, and
maybe that, and funny enough, maybe that's it.
it's just not the cool rebellious thing to do.
Yeah, because it is everybody does it. It's I mean, I never wanted to get beer when I was a kid. I think once I did, but
Right.
I didn't care about beer.
Right.
Bad beer, nobody cared about that.
Yeah.
But weed,
Yeah,
that was
man,
exciting.
yeah, right.
That was exciting.
It's gonna make Dennis the Menace and Tom and Jerry even more awesome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
A recent study by research from Florida Atlantic University shows that despite concerns that state-level marijuana legalization in the U.S. might lead to increased use among teens, it's actually decreasing. Now, the study does note that girls are now surpassing boys in marijuana consumption. The study analyzed marijuana use trends among U.S. teens from 2011 to 2021. It used data from a youth risk behavioral study of high school students in grades 9 through 12. Now, overall, it says that it included samples of about 88,000 high school students. During this time, they reported the use among teens showed a significant decline. The proportion of teens who've ever tried it decreased from 39.9% in 2011 to 27.8% in 2021. And the percentage of students who reported using it in the past 30 days dropped from 23.1 to 15.8%. That is really surprising to me, but I guess maybe it is that it's not it's not the illicit drug that it once was, So what's the thing now? Or maybe something crazier's happened. Maybe they've looked around at everybody else and went, oh, maybe I don't need that at all. Maybe I still want to do shit today, and I don't need it.
I want to do something more than just eat chips and play video games all day.
Yes, I mean, if you can get paid to do that, I think it's fantastic.
Right.
I mean, I don't know many people who, if they could get paid to eat chips and play video games, would say no to that.
This is true.
Yeah.
Is true.
I mean, I'm keeping it real, man. I mean, it is amazing to watch how the video game industry has progressed, because if you go back to the 80s, the movie industry was the most robust, lucrative market.
Oh, yeah.
But somewhere in the early 2000s to 2010, somewhere in that range, video games surpassed movies and have continued dramatically to produce more income as an industry. It far outpaces movies now.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Yeah, no, it's just true. I mean, now, of course, video games have become progressively more and more expensive.
Right.
But having said that, what's really fascinating is watching these championships, these competitions that are now emerging, where you have people going to arenas to watch esports.
You can bet on people playing Call of Duty, actually bet.
Yes. Yeah, you can. And I don't know if it's a good idea, but you can. And you look at the complex nature of these games and the competitions, and man, these guys are making big money. They're starting to get into the neighborhood of some of these athletes in the amount of money they can make, because honestly, there are as many or more people watching / playing video games as there ever have been with football, baseball, or any other thing like that, wrestling for that matter.
Yeah.
Because games include everything. It includes sports.
Right.
It includes actors. It includes it now encompasses just about everything.
Well, and that's why when you said that it was passing up movies, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I mean that there's the graphics and things and games and storylines and stuff are so much you almost feel like you're immersing yourself in the movie.
Yeah.
You know.
Yesterday we were talking about a game called Red Dead Redemption.
Oh yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
Red
Okay,
Dead
you have it.
Redemption
Okay,
2.
I
okay,
have it.
okay. Well, Bundy was saying that if you're doing the storyline, that there's a couple areas where it's like a 20, 30 minute
Yeah.
video that plays basically in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're not even playing the game; you're just watching it.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, for sure. And then I think that's what draws me a lot to video games is the story behind it. What like the action and playing it's cool, but I'm really playing it to see what happens next in the story. And
Okay.
I've always been that way since I was little.
That's a really interesting statement to make because you don't think of video games as like reading a book, or you don't think of it like really watching a movie.
Right.
But what you just said evokes both of those things, really. It means that video games have come so far in the way they have, the world they've created, the universe they've made, that now it's an equal viable storyline to that of televisions, movies, and books. That's what you're telling me. I'm literally into this game, not even because I just want to kick ass in action. I want to know what happens next.
And there was one game out there that was real popular I played. It was called Detroit Becoming Human. And like you were this android guy and you had to do all these different things. But in the game, based off of the choices that you made to do with your character, would affect which part of the storyline of the game you would see. And then you could go back and play and make different choices and have a whole different outcome. So man, it's crazy all the different avenues that it encompasses.
No, it's just it's amazing how far that it's come. I was talking yesterday, when I was a kid and played video games, you had punch, jump, hit buttons, and a joystick that moved direction. That was it. That's all you had. You didn't have to think any more than that, and there were, there was not much of a real storyline, to be honest. Like, if you were playing Galaga, you don't know why they're shooting at you or you're shooting at them, why they want to kill you. You don't care.
Yeah.
You're just going back and forth because that's all you can do, left or right, and hit the shoot button. See, that's only one button, and left or right. You couldn't even go up, down. It's just left or right is all you could do. And but now it is immersive, and they are incorporating, these A-list actors into some of these games. Now, does Red Dead Redemption have any known actors who voice or characters in it?
I'm not sure on Red Dead Redemption. I know there's a Mafia series that I play, and I recognize some of the voices from Sopranos and some other Mafia movies. That
Really?
were out
And
there,
then what's it called?
It's a series. There's Mafia 1, 2, and 3. And it takes place during certain time periods. I think the first one's like in the 20s.
It's a video game.
Yeah, and then they're actually releasing a new one. I can't remember. It comes out next year.
So hold on. So the Mafia game.
Yeah.
What's the objective? Who do you play, and what are you doing?
Yeah, so you start off as this low level criminal Vito, and he ends up finding a way into the mob, works his way up through the ranks. Eventually, he gets kind of put into the witness protection program because of things. And then the second and third one, they kind of take place in a different time period and under a different character.
What is
but it's
your
all related.
objective? You're playing Vito, is
Yeah.
that right? You're the up and coming gangster mobster.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you?
You
have to
become the
smoke
Godfather.
people, you
Yeah.
smoke
I mean, you're
people,
smoking
you-
people. You are
robbing
car
people.
bombs, robbing people. You name it. Bootlegging.
So do they have
Oh.
one yet? I mean, if we're going to go that far, do we have one yet called, Cartel Kingpin, where you can learn to flip cocaine? And
Man, wouldn't that be interesting? I mean,
if you're already doing everything else, I mean, you may as well have the cartel game going. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know. I'm not a gamer.
aware of, but
You'd play it, wouldn't
find some
you?
investors, right?
Well, he's saying I would play that if you.
If it existed, we'd play
Yeah,
it.
no. I assure you, people would play that.
Oh, I'm sure.
They play Grand Theft Auto. You're
yeah.
beating up hookers, and
Big GTA fan.
Yeah. Are you?
Yep. I've stumbled upon GTA 3 probably younger than I should have at 11 or 12 years old.
I think most did. Yeah, most did. I'm certain of it.
You know, and then I've played every one up until the current one, and I plan on playing GTA 6 when it decides to drop.
And
I've been waiting on that one for what, 12 or 13 years? Yeah, next year sometime.
is it supposed to drop? Who makes that? Is that
GTA
Rockstar?
5 dropped in 2013, and they've just been rocking with that one. I mean, there's constant updates, downloadable content. The online play is something really big that wasn't in the early series.
Yeah, that is a big thing now that a lot of people do the online gaming.
Oh, yeah.
And where they play each other, I guess, around the world.
Yeah.
You know, is that's what goes on, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. My son's playing Fortnite with kids all around the world every day. So
Yeah. See, I couldn't play Fortnite with anyone.
Yeah.
Now I can still in Mario Kart make a 14-year-old Japanese girl cry. I promise you that. I'll still make her cry. But as far as doing anything modern, no, I'm no threat to anyone. I might watch it. You know. All right, let's do something a little different here.
You wake up and you feel like crap. You know who else wakes up and feels like crap? Yeah, here comes a shameless plug.
Patrick and the people. All right, we are getting ready to continue on here. Just want to say a quick goodbye. Man, you got to bounce, man. Hold on, let me pull your mic back up. Go ahead.
sorry, I left prematurely. Yeah, I've got to dip out.
We've all had that happen to us, haven't we?
But certainly appreciate the time.
Oh, hell yeah,
Absolutely,
man.
man.
Online talk wrestling, video games, and certainly hope to that you'll have me back.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, man,
we'll
get with
definitely
me.
have you back,
Get with
man.
me,
I
for
really enjoyed meeting you and having you on the program, and I'll get with Rich, and we'll definitely get you back in again, man. I think we could have a lot of fun having you in again.
Absolutely.
All right, yeah, and don't forget to get us a video
I got
of
you.
one of your great matches so we can get that on the blog and everybody can see what you're all about out there and come root you on.
I got you. Don't forget about that chop. We're gonna make it happen.
No, we're definitely gonna make that happen. You see, we've been talking behind the scenes, and one thing that we're working on right now, because I'm trying to do some wild and crazy stuff around here. We're gonna create a wheel of pain, and I have to spin it every Friday. And whatever it lands on, I'm going to have to endure that. We're just working on the list right now, and we may have to add chop,
There you go.
or some type of great wrestling thing to that. But we've got some good ones on there now. As we, as a matter of fact, I might have. Hold on, let me see if I've got. We started the list, and I'm open. There it is, Wheel of Pain. So we've got shock collar, stun gun, a paddle, a paintball shot, a tortilla slap, and a sack tap. Yeah, all those are on there. Now we're gonna add
We're gonna add the
wrestling chop.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything you think of that might belong on the Wheel of Pain, let me know. And don't be stupid. No one's pulling my fingernails out. Okay, I'm not taking no field goal kick ball shots or anything like that.
Fun.
Yeah, just. Well, I don't know. Is there such thing as fun pain? That sounds oxymoronic. Let's do this now.
Listen up now, I'll tell you a story. Without a doubt, it's kinda gory. It's the worst news you could ever hear. Things just like this make you fear. Lying lunched on a dumb guy's knee, or a big hard fuck drowning some honey. Why you laughing? Why you laughing? This shit ain't funny.
It's not.
It's not.
This shit ain't.
No, it's not funny, Luke,
That's
at all.
such a catchy little tune, man.
It is,
I
isn't
found
it?
myself singing that on my drive home.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. A fight at an apartment complex in Tennessee Saturday led to a person being stabbed, 2 cars totaled, and a lot more.
Sounds like Friday.
Well, it does, doesn't it? A witness of the fight at the Nob Hill apartment complex, they live in Nob Hill, this is near Nashville, said one victim had his hand completely severed. The witness said his brother-in-law was trying to go to work, and there was a large party in the apartment parking lot. The brother-in-law asked the group to quieten it down a little bit. See, that never seems to work well when there's a big party and you go tell them to be quiet. It's never going to work well for you. You're better to get earplugs, leave, go get a hotel room, do anything else. Don't tell them to be quiet because this is what's going to happen. The group got mad and tried to attack him. There were 8 people So my brother-in-law, he ran away. They damaged his car in the chase. At some point, they caught up to my brother-in-law. Someone pulled out a machete. During the fight, one man cut another man's hand completely off. Police confirmed someone was taken to the hospital with injuries. The witness said there needs to be a change in the apartment complex. Well, it does sound like it's a pretty tough place to be.
Why is it always a machete too? Like everybody, all things I hear, they pulled out a machete. Nobody,
Well, I think that machetes have really come back into vogue recently, and you see a lot more people using the sword or the machete. But they work. They're very effective. That's why.
Quick. And
It's easy to wield. It's like a light sword.
Yeah.
Easy to wield. Keeps a good distance between you and your enemy.
Okay.
And is very effective.
Just done away with the old pocket knife.
Very effective. Look, you can sever someone's hand.
Yeah.
Whoop.
That's
all
that'll
you
take
need
care of
right
the
there.
problem.
Yep. All right. Let's take a look at this. A teenage boy is in a hospital after losing a good part of his ear, having multiple stabs and slash wounds after an altercation. Police investigating after 17-year-old was allegedly stabbed at about 8 p.m. last night. He was taken to the hospital, non-life-threatening injuries. Another 17-year-old boy, believed to have known the victim, has been arrested, expected to be interviewed by police. That's all bad right there, all bad. Let's see what else we got going on here. Hold on 1 second here. Be patient. It was a weird day. We got a late start.
Oh, somebody said while you're doing that, comments on Facebook.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Talking about, we were talking about earlier about marijuana use going down. John the Revelator said kids using pills has gone way up though.
Has it?
So.
That's terrible. I hate that, man. I never was a fan of pills. Even as a product of the 80s. In Bryant High School, where all kinds of things were popular, so to speak, extracurricular wise. I've never liked pills, but most pills are designed to make you sleepy.
Yeah.
Or that's what they did to me. You know what I mean? I can take sleep. I can go to sleep anytime. I can take a nap anytime. Trust me, I'm not worried about
once
that.
Once you hit that certain age, it's
no. I've always had that ability though. I always wanted to have fun and. Taking downers was never fun to me. It's not. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Right.
No. This is a terrible story, as you might imagine. The heartbroken father of a schoolgirl who died in a speedboat crash spoke at the devastation of losing his daughter. Simon Lewis told the inquest into the death of his teenage daughter, Emily, her death had been nothing short of devastating, saying one should never expect to outlive their kids. That's certainly true. Emily Lewis was 15. She suffered fatal injuries after a speedboat the family were on plowed straight into a metal buoy floating in the water. She suffered unsurvivable chest injuries because she was crushed against the metal in the crash. Mr. Lewis and his wife went for the speedboat ride with their daughters on a rigid inflatable boat back in 2020 is when it happened. But the boat ride, of course, turned into a nightmare when it smashed into a buoy while they were traveling at about 42 miles an hour. Now, this was not a small buoy. It's 4.5 meters, so that's 12, 13 feet.
At least.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty significant size. So I don't know if Dad just took his eye off the wheel. Nobody was looking, if they were all looking left or what the hell was happening there, but that's no bueno, that's a tough thing. Okay. That's an update on a story we did the other day, but do you remember the story we did the other day where the guy was, were you here when we were talking about the guy who was dead? They were harvesting his organs.
Yeah,
when
and he woke up, he started crying and whatever.
He started crying.
Update on it?
Yeah, there was, but I passed it now because I didn't want to double it up. But okay,
what kind of update could be though?
Well,
you survived. You don't have to read it.
No, I'm not going back to it now. Okay, so a 60-year-old woman was crushed to death under the wheels of a Mo-Bus. I need Mo-Bus. Bring me Mo-Bus, please.
Apparently, she didn't.
Under the wheels of a Mo-Bus in front of her husband. Police identified the deceased Saraswati Gochiyat of CDA Sector 6. This is in India, by the way.
Oh, I was wondering.
Yeah, the bus driver has been detained. Sources said that after getting off of the bus, Saraswati and her husband, Laxman, what a name, Laxman, were heading to board another bus at the terminal to go to their relative's place when the incident happened. The driver of the MoBus was reversing when it hit the couple who were walking behind it. Now, Laxman had a narrow escape. Saraswati fell down and the bus ran over her chest and then stopped, thinking they hit something and backed or pulled forward and ran over her again. So if she was still going, well, he made sure that she wasn't. I'll tell you that. That's a pretty tough story right there, man.
That's a rough way to go, man.
That is, under the bus. So getting thrown under the bus literally right there. That's a bad one. That's a bad one. All right, and we'll do one more. Look, sometimes you just have to understand that nature doesn't like you. It doesn't want you, and it doesn't need you, and it will take care of you. An Australian hiker was crushed to death by a falling tree in Yosemite National Park in California. Harry Partington, 22, he was from Australia. So he's flown all the way, 19 hours, a flight from Australia. Right. 19 hours,
Jeez.
Bro. You got to be on a plane 19 hours.
I don't know if I would have survived that.
You want to talk about taking a pill? That's when I'll take a pill. I'll take a couple of them then. But he comes all the way from Australia. He's hiking the 4-mile trail near Union Point when a tree crashed down and killed him. Happened about 2:30 in the afternoon. A woman from Germany who wasn't hiking with him was also injured and airlifted to the hospital. Kelly Bentley, a park visitor who was in the area at the time with her family, said she'd been waiting for her family to head back down the trail from Glacier Point when she saw Yosemite search and rescue personnel rushing to the scene. The Yosemite Park spokesperson said, there were wind gusts all day, rain felt in the valley. The 4-mile trail in Yosemite is a 9.6-mile strenuous loop that winds towards Glacier Point, and it can be dangerous. But that's where you go get to see views of Yosemite Valley, El Capitan, Yosemite Falls, and ultimately the Half Dome.
I can see all those from the comfort of my house, just using
Google,
satellites.
You really can. You really
not have to worry about trees falling on me.
The old trees, they'll get you, man.
Yeah, gotta look at.
You can't even go to the woods anymore without someone attacking you. It's just not a safe world anymore. Right? Thanks, Trump. Hey-oh. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. I want to thank you very much for another great day, another great show. We really do appreciate you. Cannot thank you enough for being part of this, and please continue to spread the word. Tomorrow's show should be amazing. Amanda is supposed to be here and tase me. That's going to be great.
We'll have to talk next week. I had my hypnosis session yesterday. Last night.
Did you?
Yeah, it was good, man. I really enjoyed it. We'll talk about it Tuesday.
Yeah, he'll no longer be sniffing random people's feet on the bus.
Right. They finally got me.
Yeah, that's great. No longer sniffing feet on the bus. So we appreciate that. All right, everybody. Thank you again. Be sure and check out the website, patrickandthepeople.com. Send people to it. And don't forget that if you miss part of this show, you can always go back to Spotify, to Amazon, to Audible, to iHeart, suck it, and pick it up there, okay? And have a great one. We will see you soon.